Yeah, no, everyone sounds the same, and it's like a animal noise Olympics. So no shade, because that stuff is very, very impressive and far technically superior to anything I could do. But I just feel like there's a lot less heart in it. I like to be able to distinguish lyrics, but that's quite hypocritical because I do like Without a Face. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop there.
Real quick before getting into today's episode, just wanted to shout out a few quick things. First of all, we have a Patreon. For as low as $1.50 a month, you can get early access to these episodes as well as your name in the credits. And with the $5 tier, you can gain access to member-only channels in our Discord server. Secondly, we have merch. 2 designs that we absolutely love. You can find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, see these as they happen. We do those every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. Yeah, that's it. Links to everything I just mentioned will be in the description, along with links to our Discord server and our other socials. That's it. That's all I got to plug. Enjoy the episode. A little noon stream for the boys over here, but that's because it ain't noon everywhere. It's 6 p.m. for our boy Aaron over here. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm all good. Excited to be here, man.
Hell yeah,
Awesome.
Man. I've been looking forward to doing this with you. We talked about this. It's been a couple of months now, and we were talking off stream before starting this. It's been hard for us to get the Euro guests on the show because of the time we normally do these recordings, but glad we were able to fit this one in just before you leave for tour. You're going to be busy for the next couple months.
Yeah. Well, you managed to twist my arm. It took a lot of negotiation, but I'm finally here on the podcast.
Been pestering you every other day.
Yeah, I really wanted to be here. So, yeah, we're going out with Fit for a King, Invent Animate, and Acres. It's going to be great. Stoked to hit up some Canada and some B market stuff. It's going to be sick.
You guys are doing some of the random Canada cities. You guys are going straight into the prairies and everything.
Yeah. We just got to see people with 6 toes and stuff. So let's just. I'm just kidding. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's what marrying your cousin will do to your kids, I guess. But hell yeah, man. I have a bunch of stuff that I'd like to get into with you. But I think a cool place to maybe start this, which would maybe inform some context for the follow-up conversations afterwards. I'd love to maybe just go back to baby Aaron, young Aaron. What was the UK like for you? It's so distant now, but what can you tell us about growing up, and maybe when it pertains to music, I guess, as well, like getting into music, or did you have musical parents or any of that sort of stuff? I'm curious.
Definitely, yeah. So my mum and my dad, they were both bikers, and that's how they met, riding motorbikes and stuff. So my dad was really into Motorhead, still is, he's punk, and my mum is really into David Bowie, T-Rex, and all that stuff. So I had music around the house since I was a kid. But when it really happened is my grandma, she was German, rest in peace, and at her house in England, she had German cable TV. So we got Rammstein before everyone else, and I was just oh, it's awesome. But the real entry point, sorry, I'm kind of skipping a few bits here, but the real entry point for me was listening to Kim by Eminem. When that came out, it's it's not metal, but it's so violent, and it's what this is what's up, and that kind of opened the door into violent stuff.
Okay. And then did your parents have most people may perhaps enjoy music or have bands they listen to and stuff, but were they supportive of you doing music? Was it were did they play any instruments or anything at all? Was there anything like that?
No.
Or what was it that made you be like, oh, I want to do this vocal thing. I want to scream into a fucking microphone.
What was it? I mean, early Bring Me the Horizon definitely played a part because, you know, I was 16, probably 16, crazy hairdo, massive fringe and stuff. And like when bands like the MySpace bands started coming around, it was kind of like, oh, I can dress like this and do that. And I think that was the case for lots of people around our age. So that was definitely an entry point for me. But seeing Mitch Lucker, I think that was one of the real turning points where I was like, wow, like this guy's got so much riz, so much tattoos. I want to be exactly like him. I think that was kind of the turning point for me.
It's the same for me, right? Like I feel like we like death metal and very heavy music was sort of didn't feel like
accessible,
you
right?
know. Yeah, it was different. Like it felt like it was different kind of people type of things. Like you would see like these metalheads. Like I couldn't relate to that really, but when we started to see Bring Me the Horizon, who, let's be honest, looked like emo kids basically, or scene kids or something, it was just like, oh, maybe maybe that sort of heavy music could be something like maybe it's for us as well. And Mitch was, kind of in that same he was with real metalheads in the band, but he looked like Bring Me the Horizon. So I feel like for a lot of us, I don't think it was conscient, but I think we felt maybe more of a sense of maybe this is my place after all. So
absolutely. I mean, like, especially when you're that age, like 15, 16, your visual identity is so strong. So that's kind of like all you have. You cling onto that so much. So like listening to a different kind of music that didn't go with the way you looked in your 16-year-old brain, that's like the end of the world, isn't it? So it was like, well, I can actually, that's kind of how I lived it, which is kind of embarrassing to say, but that's how it went down,
I mean, at that age, that's just what most people. Yeah, that's just what most people go through, right? Well, what's I mean, just because it's also so fresh. I mean, everyone's been talking about this, but thoughts on the re-recording, the Bring Me stuff?
I'm super excited about it. I think everyone is. I don't know if they've announced who's mixing it and mastering it, but I found out who that is. Yeah. So they did.
Buster.
Yeah. And I really like everything that he does. So that's kind of gotten me even more stoked. I think it was just kind of like been listening to the original of the album. I did. I'm like, this actually fucking slaps still. There was a point in time where it sounded a bit too different, but now I feel like music has gone back into the more raw stuff, and for some reason it just sounds better now. I'm stoked about it.
It's like maybe listening back to Count Your Blessings like 5-10 years ago would have sounded maybe outdated, but you listen to it now that stuff is like popping again, and that's something we're gravitating towards again, and it's like sounds good again type of thing.
Absolutely, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what Buster does with it, because his style is so typically different to like that original recording, right? To like that sound. Yeah. But I've also kind of heard them talk about the fact that, their intent wasn't to really change anything about the songs. They didn't because they re-recorded it, but from what I understand, it's like the same parts. They didn't like tweak things and add stuff, or they didn't want that like uncanny valley kind of weird thing going on where everyone knows the songs already. So it's like, it'd be weird if they change stuff. So I'm curious on the mixing front, like how that's going to transpire for those same reasons, right? Because I think we do kind of latch on to our memory of what the thing was, versus hearing it in a new light.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's so attached to it. So I think the general consensus is going to be like, oh, the old stuff's better, because that's kind of, what everyone says about everything. But I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be novel for sure.
Mm-hmm. There's, to me, weirdly, one of my favorite things is the fact that a band to the level of Bring Me the Horizon usually don't share much. They kind of just drop things, and to see Ollie just on his cam showing all the process, to me is like, it's kind of, we're back to MySpace in that sense. Like that's
Yeah, it's been like
That's how it felt to me.
reposting everyone that's doing covers and stuff. It seems like they're really bringing the community together along with them, and that's why everyone's getting so stoked about it.
Which is crazy for a band as big as them, right? That's what like makes it so cool to me. Mostly is like there's like no real reason for them to do something like no other band of their size is doing that sort of stuff really. So it's been cool. It's been cool to see. I'm excited, man.
But yeah, baby.
Did you get to see them
Never.
no? Growing up,
Never.
it's like you listen to them, but
Yeah.
weren't able to catch them live.
Yeah, I mean, I never had any like money when I was growing up, and I think they came to Leicester once, but they played at like the Royal Albert Hall or something like that. That's not the one in London. It's one that's called the same. And they were playing with, I can't remember who they were playing with, but it was too expensive. I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going. And never got the chance. It's weird because, I've been playing music and doing festivals for so long. You'd think that we'd kind of cross paths at some point, but it's just never happened.
Yeah. What about starting to go to shows? You mentioned like not really having money and stuff, but were there like local shows you were going to when you started getting into heavier music and stuff? Like what did that scene look like for you? What were some of those early shows?
Dude, all right. Fun fact, my first show was Sepultura, and I went there by accident, dude. Like, yeah, like they had.
How does
this
one
kind of-
accidentally get into a show?
All right, so in Leicester they have a couple of them, but they have this one like 3-story nightclub situation. So it's like first floor is like indie, and then you have rock and then metal. And we could get in there being underage because they wouldn't really ask for IDs and shit. So we went there one weekend, and it wasn't a club night. They just had Sepultura playing there. So we just went in. We were like, all right, well, guess we was watching this. I think it was like part of the club night. You pay to get in. It was like £5 or whatever, and then you could just kind of watch the band, and it was them. So that was cool. But other than that, yeah, we had a really cool scene, I guess. Another awesome story. So we were playing shows with like bands like Nailbed. There's a band called Nailbed and a band called Reverence as well. And so we played, Nailbed played, and Reverence played. Reverence, the singer was Loz from While She Sleeps. In Nailbed, Cam and James from Ask and Alexandria were playing, and I was in my band. And it's mad because in 2013, us While She Sleeps and Ask and Alexandria went out on tour, and we were just like, so mental to come, and it's funny because I'm still really good friends with those guys. So yeah, it just shows how like those local beginnings really kind of form solid relationships.
Yeah. What was I'm trying to what was like some first music you were making? What got you? What were you doing when you started doing vocals and stuff? Was it deathcore already, or were you doing bands before deathcore? Like what was that intro for you?
Well, before I joined Betraying the Martyrs, I only had one band, and that's how I met Betraying the Martyrs, because we supported them once. And that band, it was like, I wanted it to be deathcore, but I think instrumentally it wasn't that deathcore. So I was just doing deathcore vocals because that's what I wanted to do over some kind of heavyish metal. It wasn't quite there. We couldn't play very fast because we were all shit. So yeah, it's kind of how it went. But I think you can still find some of the stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, look up for Reasons Untold on
No, it's
on
for
the
Untold
YouTube.
Reasons. There was actually another band.
Reasons.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was a band from Peterborough, which is down the road from Leicester, and they were called For Reasons Untold. Dicks.
But around that time, it's funny you say that, because I think looking back on some of those like shows and stuff you guys were playing with that band, like a lot of that scene was like all the deathcore stuff still, right? Like it wasn't like you guys it was the Argent Dawns and like Postmortem Promises and stuff like that. Like,
dude, that's mental that you know those bands. Yeah, the Argent Dawn, we played a bunch with them. They actually played our like farewell show when we called it a day. Postmortem Promises, we had Aaron, the singer, as a feature on For Untold Reasons stuff. That's still online. Yeah, so you know, it's such a small country, right, and such a small scene that we're all just hanging out and doing shows all the time. It's crazy, you know. Those.
Yeah, well, we had Aaron on the show. He's fucking dope.
Yeah, he's funny. Hey.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I started playing music, me and my friends would kind of go watch the Argent Dawn. That was like one of the shows, the local shows that I go to and stuff whenever they come through. And I remember saying to myself, like, I just want to do this as long as I get as big as the Argent Dawn is right now, I'll be happy forever. And that was like, I never saw any higher than that. I was just like, all right, I just want to get to that level, and that's fine with me.
Which is funny because it's not like the Argent Dawn didn't like barely toured even, right? Like they didn't. No,
they just smoke weed all the time. I think they just smoke way too much weed.
Weed and World of Warcraft, and that
was our thing. It's like, oh my god, the Argent Dawn here. Did you know they smoke weed? Oh my god, do they? You know, back then it was like, whoa. It's funny. It's funny.
Around that time was also like Annotations of an Autopsy was like fucking massive for the scene too. Were those boys you kind of grew up with too?
Yeah, actually, one of my best friends he moved to Norwich and he's now the drummer, the really skinny one. Remember when that video came out and everyone's like, oh, it looks like the singer ate the drummer's food or some shit like that, you know? And I was like, wow, that's brutal. But yeah, that guy. That guy. And we loved that fucking, what was that song? She Bleeds from Every Fucking Hole or whatever. Would never pass. You know, if that came out today, cancelled as fuck. But that song was like awesome.
I mean, these three bands we kind of just talked about too, like it is crazy that they've all like played shows in recent years. You know, like, you know, fucking Annotations coming back with fucking, well, Argent hasn't, but they're like back. They're like, you know,
did they go out with Slaughter to Prevail? Am I mixing it up?
Yeah, they did like three arena shows in the UK opening for Slaughter to Prevail. Like,
I imagine like they're probably working it. I know it was one of them just sitting down at home, probably just sitting. Yeah, just like, you want to play these shows? Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy times right now for that sort of scene. We're seeing so many bands like that come back, and with all different sorts of reactions to new music from these bands and all of that. There's a very wide scope of what we're getting from these bands, but seeing Annotations do those Slaughter to Prevail shows, I was like, oh, this is sick. You know, they're doing it in a big way. It's cool.
Yeah, well, like some bands, they get so big that they can kind of do what they want. And if I'm not mistaken, Slaughter to Prevail kind of like, you know, they don't really, like, they're not hugely managed or like under some crazy like label umbrella or something. And like Paleface did the same thing. They're just like, all right, well, I liked Annotations of an Autopsy when I was in Russia ages ago. Let's just take them out. Just it's like a personal, you know, win. And like Paleface taking out Nasty. It's just like, I like these guys, my friends. I want to tour with them, so they just do it. You know, they don't have to ask anyone. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not like a band like Slaughter to Prevail doesn't need to sell more tickets by their openers. You know, they can they can afford to just be like, we're bringing whoever the fuck we want on. We think this is cool, or these are the homies. Let's do it, and it's like as simple as that, right?
I think that's dope. Shout out to Landmarks, like we did when we first became a band. Landmarks just put us on our first ever tour as their direct support, and we were like, what the fuck? And they were just like, we like you guys. Like, all right, thanks. So big shout out to them, you know.
All right, let's you know, we'll talk more about 1056 in a minute, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk about, because we are nerds of the MySpace stuff and the that specific era of bands and stuff. And I remember the day Betraying the Martyrs put out the signing to Sumerian, the song with you, and being like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
what was the song even?
Shit. It was
was it that Pop Idol thing? Is that what you're talking about?
The something like you. What the fuck?
Because of you.
Because of you. And yeah, I don't know. It was like hearing your brand of like lows on a band that also has clean singing, and the prior version of the band didn't come close to that sort of sound either. And also paired with the fact that like at that time there weren't that many vocalists doing that kind of low. It's kind of become like a normal thing to expect now in like deathcore and stuff like that. But at the time it was still, you know, even then, like I don't remember what year this was. This is like early, like late 2000s or early 2010s.
It would have been
2011.
It would have been probably like the end of the year 2010 or maybe very beginning of 2011.
And like even at that time, we're like a few years into deathcore at that point, but even then it was still like people were still like, yo, Phil Bozeman's lows, what the fuck? You know, like we were still like that sort of low was still like few and far between. Not that many people were doing that stuff. So I just remember hearing your vocals for the first time and being like, holy fuck, you know?
That's
but
awesome.
I'm curious for you, like when, because obviously seems, I don't know what it looked like behind the scenes, but it seemed to, you know, you joined the band, you move countries, signed by Sumerian, you drop this track and then the subsequent record, and like things seem to blow the fuck up for the band. Like I feel like for you it must have felt like a 0 to 100 type of thing, joining the band and moving and doing all these things. Like, but I'm curious how you actually felt about it.
It's funny because I think that when you're younger, like a year feels like 10 years feels like now, you know, like time goes by so slowly because you're young still. And it kind of happened fast, but I was thinking, oh, this is taking ages. Like I've been in this town for 3 months. Oh, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, well, I didn't really think about it. I was like, yeah, I'll just move to France. I don't think I was thinking a lot because I was like 20. You know, I was 20 years old. I was just like, let's just go. But yeah, it really hit. We released Because of You, and then Ash Avildsen reposted it. I think it was on Facebook or maybe Twitter. And he was just like, this song's awesome. We were like, what? And then, yeah, when that signing came, they were just really on it. And this is kind of coming off the back of like when Asking blowed up. So, you know, I think it's safe to say that they were kind of hoping to really market the band and get another one. So the push happened really quick. And by what year? When was it? I think it was 2011. By the end of the year, we was in the States already with Born of Osiris and stuff. And that was like, whoa, you know, when we got there, we like stayed in the Boo House that we'd seen on YouTube and stuff. We were like, this is amazing. But they just moved out, right? So it was just an empty shell of the house, and it still had like dog shit on the carpet and stuff. And in Jason's room, but he was still in the band, there was like, I don't know, maybe 200 empty Monster cans on the floor. We were like, whoa. Yeah.
I say, yeah, that's how he's fast on the guitar. It's 200 cans of Monster.
Yeah. But I mean, it happened super fast, and I was really stoked. And like I said earlier, no, I really didn't want to. I didn't start out to be even like that recognized, you know, as little recognized as we were at the time. I just kind of wanted to be like Argent Dawn. I was still kind of there in my head, you know.
Yeah. Well, which is crazy, right? Because that's like a year prior. You're in this other band. You're like, oh, it'd be cool if we were a little bit bigger than like a local band, you know. And then fast forward a year, and you're touring the States with Born of Osiris, and on a big
I mean,
label and doing all these things.
it's not glamorous, right? We didn't have any money, so we didn't take a trailer. So you know those small vans that all the bands do the tours in. We put all of the gear in there, and there was 6 of us on 2 of those benches, and I still had hair at that point. So one night I fell asleep on the floor, and it was so cold that my hair was frozen to the door. It was mental. It wasn't glamorous at all, but it was sick.
Yeah, but it's still like, I think most people can wrestle with the fact that it's not like glamorous, but you're still kind of like living out some sort of a dream or opportunity that most people could only kind of like wish for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, like at 2021, you just made of rubber anyway. So, going on 3 hours of sleep. If I did that now, I think I'd have a stroke. But yeah, we were just having a good time. It was awesome.
That band seemed to have a curse.
Yeah.
When it
Yeah.
between visa stuff, the borders, the van on a trailer on fire, like
mate.
it just seemed like there was always something. I think. Oh yeah, I've got a flyer on the wall here. It's kind of far, but with your guys' name on it. But
What
you guys didn't
that?
actually play the show.
Oh, wait, was that at Heavy Montreal, something like that?
No, it was like I don't think it was a tour. I think it was like a one-off date. It was a Whitechapel. The lineups: Whitechapel, Upon It, Burning Body, I the Breather, and you guys. But I don't think that was a tour.
I think it was. We did one tour called the Sumerianos tour, and that was. Okay. I the Breather headlining, I think I the Breather and Upon a Burning Body were flip-flopping, and we were opening for it. Maybe we just didn't get into Canada or something.
I do remember it was because you guys didn't get into Canada, but that seemed to be like a recurring thing for you guys.
Yeah, just nah, fuck these guys. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah. Talk about the curse. Let me hear it. It's interesting to like hear about. Other people's perspectives on that band, because I feel the same way.
Well, I mean, I'd be more so curious to just maybe more like just kind of like a mindset thing, because like I feel like a band that goes through like so much shit like that, like I get it, like touring and stuff makes you resilient and all these things, right? And you have to be, and the industry is brutal and all of these things, but like I can't imagine having like my trailer with all my belongings fucking catch on fire, lose all my shit, and have to move on with my day,
Mate, that was the worst. That was the fucking worst. Do you want to know how it happened?
Yeah.
I'm curious. We rented the Sprinter off a friend of mine. He was doing merch for Oceano on a previous tour. That's how we met. And so there was no like deal or insurance. It was like the merch guy for Oceano at that time. He just bought a Sprinter with maybe a friend of his. And so we got that, and it kept shit in the bed, and it like broke down maybe three times. So they were like, "Oh, we just bought a second one. We'll send you this one. It was brand new." But the thing is, you couldn't idle it, which means like you couldn't just start and like run power like the AC and electrics and stuff. Because it was like a modified Sprinter, so it had bunks and it had like TVs in there and like a fridge and like 2 little sockets. It was pretty cool.
Great for sleeping, but also not great for sleeping with no AC because and no electricity.
Plus you're on fire, which isn't great for sleeping either. So like that, he was like, okay, but I'm going to supply you guys with this generator, so you have to run the generator whenever you kind of stuck there. And we were playing in LA. Well, I say LA, it was like Skid Row. I think that's still LA, but Skid Row. Yeah. And like we didn't sell enough tickets for the venue. They wouldn't allow us to go in the green room. They were like, nah, you didn't sell enough tickets, so you're not using the green room.
ticket gatekeeping the green room is crazy.
Yeah, the most
Like,
American
it's
thing
there.
ever.
It's
Yeah.
empty, dude.
Yeah, like proper dick move. So
You cannot go in that empty room with barely anything in it and like a shitty, you know what I mean? Like when I
Yeah.
heard about green rooms, it's not great. Like it's not like you've been denied like the 5-star thing. It's like you've been denied something that's already kind of shitty in most cases, from what I understand.
yeah. Oh, what? You mean we can't come and use the shower that's never clean and get a fungal infection on my toe? Oh no. Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
so we were just camping out in the van, but it was like hot as fuck. So we were running the generator, and then they were just being dicks the whole show. So when we finished, we had to go to the next show real quick, and they were like, "You can't be parked out of here outside the venue anymore." So they were just like rushing us off, like taking away the parking permit and shit. So we just had to kind of load everything in really quick. So we put the generator in, and the last thing to go in on top of the generator was my fucking suitcase. And it happened, I don't know, I think it was like 4 hours later. It's like 4 a.m. We're just driving down the thing. Everyone's sleeping, right? You got your heads right next to the trailer, and then we just pull into a fucking gas station, which is funny to think, right? Because if you're on fire, I don't think pulling into a gas
Not the best
station.
place. Not
Yeah, where can they go? Oh, there you go, concentrated area with loads of gas. But yeah, dude just pulled up. Get out, get out. We were like, what the fuck? Get out, and the shit's on, on flames. Fire is happening, crazy. And anyway, the fire department come and put it out, and I look at my suitcase, and it was just a black little square like this, and I was like, fuck. It was crazy. We lost all of our stuff, and some of the stuff was like really damaged, and some of the stuff was like still really fucking damaged. But the guys, we had no money. We were like, whatever, let's just take it back. So we got to the airport. We're wearing like swimming shorts because they're the only things that we had in the van, and like holding the guitar that's like half burnt, and we stink like fire. It's like, must have looked like a terrorist attack or something was happening. But yeah, it was fucking awful. But luckily for us, like we posted about it, and I think we did a GoFundMe, and
Yeah.
we managed to get the whole backline back, and it even got myself a new leather jacket because I had a really expensive jacket that burned. I was pretty upset about that. So yeah, thank you for everyone who did that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's like because I was looking through photos from that stuff. Like, there's like a photo of a guitar, and it's like mummified. It's like,
Oh,
it's
man.
crazy how fucking burnt up
Dude,
this shit was. Like,
There's two. So we were managed by Chris Adler at that time, Extreme of Lamb of God, and we didn't have a drum kit. So Chris Adler was like, "Take one of mine." And I don't want to say which album he recorded, which Lamb of God album he used to record that. You know what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
I don't want to, but it was one of them. So we had Chris Adler's fucking drum kit in the back, and we had taken After the Burials sound guy, and he came and he was like, "Okay, but I'll come, but I want to bring my console." And he just brought a brand new console. Shit was big as fuck. And he just bought it, and he was super stoked. So that got burnt, and so did Chris Adler's drum set. It was fucking awful.
Just to put things into perspective, the van and trailer was also a favor. Like, all these, the entirety of this whole thing is favors from people gone in flames.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It's a kind of moment that you're like, you're repeating yourself. This isn't happening. Like, this is not happening.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at it and you're like, this can't be happening at the moment. I refuse that this is happening at the moment.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's a massive like ball of flames reminding you. Actually, it is. Yeah. It's like, fuck. And in one of the videos, our drummer, he was like, he just walked over to it with a small bottle of water and just, it's like, we were just, it was bad.
And was this was kind of on the tail end of a tour, though, right? This was this wasn't like at the beginning of a tour or
It was
halfway?
it was mid tour. We were, I think we'd started on the East Coast, and we played Los Angeles, and we were going up to Orange County, but we were playing some festival in Canada, actually. I think it was in Vancouver. And then we were going to kind of finish off. So it was halfway through.
Fuck, man. Because I'm thinking of the merch bill too, you know, and all these things. That's usually kind of like the spicy bill as well. Any sort of production and fucking, yeah, like you said, like the backline and stuff. Because for you guys too, like it's like you guys are overseas. It's not like your own. It's all not your own shit, right?
Yeah, it didn't have to be Chris Adler's drum kit, but you know, whatever.
Do you have any moments in Betraying the Martyrs, like your time with the band, that kind of stick out to you as like crazy moments or cool moments, or maybe something equally fucked up?
Oh no, let's do some positive stuff now, because I feel like we've been talking about fire. Anything that happened, we did the Rockstar Mayhem Festival, that tour, and that was fucking sick. I mean, it was Slipknot was on there, Slayer, Anthrax, Motorhead, Asking, and Whitechapel, and Devil Wears Prada, and that was just mental, because again, that's like 2 years after moving to France, and I was just like, what, on tour with Slipknot, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, just any day of that tour, it was just mind blowing. Like, so we had a day off it was like 3 days or something. We do 3 days on and then a day off. And on each day off, one of the headlining bands, one of the bigger bands, they would organize like a party just for the crew and the bands. And like Motorhead did one, and they had this huge Ace of Spades made of ice, and all around the top there was like bottles of Jägermeister in there, and it was all flowing through, and you could just pour yourself a drink. Slipknot did one, and Clown had one of those things where he was like sitting on a chair above this big tank of water, and you could throw stuff to hit the little target, and he would fall in.
To dunk him, yeah.
yeah. I think it was Whitechapel. They threw like a Juggalo party, and everyone had Juggalo shit on their face. It was just mental. Like that period was awesome. And then we stayed in the States, and we went directly onto All Stars tour, which was Suicide Silence headliner, and that's where I met Mitch. He posted something like on day one of the tour. Yeah, he tweeted like, "I need a haircut," and I was like, "I kind of know how to cut hair, right?" So I hit him up. I was like, "I'll do it." So the next day, I think it was the next day or the third day. Either way, it was the day after my fucking birthday, right? And I had got shit faced, and then it was that day that I had to cut Mitch's hair. So I went into their like green room with my little beard trimmer and stuff. And I remember like thinking, I am way too, out of shape for this, but got it done. And then that's how we kind of became friends. And then they had a spare bunk on their bus, and I pretty much rode the Suicide Silence bus for the whole tour. And that was, for someone who was such a Mitch Lucker fan, to become friends and be that close with the band at that point in time was a huge thing for me. And I will always look fondly on those memories. Yeah.
It's as full circle as it gets. Like earlier, you're saying that Mitch Lucker literally influenced you to, you know what I mean? Like he's your biggest influence, and now you're in a bus with you're cutting his hair literally. Like I would have been like this. Like what is happening?
Yeah, but just imagine like I'm shaking like a shitting dog, and like on 1 hour sleep, and I'm trying really not to fuck his hair up. And the crazy thing is, I mean, I didn't do a really good job. And I think like the next day or the day after that, he got like a professional to come in and clean it up. Oh. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's whatever. Fine. You could have just told me.
You still had the bunk in the bus. So it couldn't be all that bad.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular fond memories with Mitch?
Yeah. We played, I can't say everything, right? After New York, we played New York City. It was like Irvine Plaza. And there's another crazy moment about that, because at that show, I think it was on like Nick Nocturnal's channel, he did an interview with Will Ramos, who was at that show, and said something about being at that show and me shouting Ebola on stage, because that was when Ebola was happening, right? So I used to shout Ebola, which is pretty insensitive now looking back, but just before a breakdown, and he mentioned that. So he was there that same day, which is wild because he's like, you know, the new Mitch in a sense. Yeah, and then we just went out, and I think we got a hotel. It was like at the top of like a really tall building, a skyscraper or something. And we just hung out. It's like just the two of us, and then there was like one or two friends. They were just kind of doing their thing, and that was like a real moment for me. It's like, wow, like I'm on a skyscraper in New York City, just chilling on the balcony, like smoking cigs with Mitch. And I was just kind of looking across the horizon, like, whoa, you know, that's really stuck with me. Like, yeah, I was probably a bit ashamed at that time because, you know, probably came across as a punisher, right? But now I look back on it, it's like, no, I had every right to kind of cherish those memories. And, you know, no one's ever too cool to like be stoked about hanging out with someone. And I really was stoked at that time. And I'm glad I was, because unfortunately he's not around, and still got those memories, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and when you think about it, a good way, because like we're always being hard on ourselves more than we need to, you know, most of the time. And but picture yourself in his shoes, right? Like, would you look at, like, picture that you're Mitch in that moment, and it's like another band that's like, because you're in that position now, right? Would you ever think like, oh, that dude is a punisher? No, you would probably just be like, that's cool. Like, it's a cool moment, you know what I mean? So I think it's a good way to look at it. We're often hard on ourselves when in that position we'd just be stoked and wouldn't feel that way. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Mitch, like, or anyone for that matter in that position, I'm sure that he didn't think as highly of himself as I thought of him at that point, you know. And if someone from another band like was kind of hanging out with me and talking to me every day on tour, there's not a world where I would think, you know, I would never think, oh, this guy's punishing me, because I don't think of myself like that. I'll just be like, oh, cool, you know, another, like a friend. And that's surely how he saw things. And
inside, he might have been still a bit upset about the hair, but that's another, you know, it's another.
He took me up there to fucking throw me off. You fucked up my hair, you dick.
I know you mentioned the balcony, but like I'm imagining like you get to this place and like the windows don't open. It's like the anti-suicide windows. It's like, fuck, I wanted to throw him off.
There's like a plaque on the wall saying like, who's that guy that lost fucking hell? He lost his son because his son, Eric Clapton. Yeah, Eric Clapton, right?
I don't know. I don't know the Eric Clapton lore, but
yeah, Eric Clapton, like his son fell out of like a hotel window or some shit. You just imagine going into the room, he sees like a plaque like Eric Clapton stayed here, and he's like,
Okay. So I wanna
hold
go
on.
for it.
Are you about to switch from
Go
Betraying
for it,
to...
Ian.
Okay, I have this very specific memory, and I'm just wondering if it's just me, but it felt at the time like your merch was everywhere. Like, I remember caps, I remember everybody's wearing, like, I don't know if it was tank tops. Is it just me? I feel like you were selling crazy amount of merch. Like, everybody was wearing your merch. Is that just a me thing? Perception?
No. Yeah, I think we did. I mean, I don't know if we were selling that much, but there was a few designs that did well. I think there was one with like the mustache. You ever see that? Remember that was a thing. Like, everyone had a t-shirts with like a mustache. They did one with my face. The cap, it said bonjour on here, like on the rim. That one did really well. And like there was a burgundy tank top that had like Betraying the Martyrs on it. Yeah, I mean, I wish we sold shit tons and like made loads of money, but we didn't.
We rarely hear about making a lot of money. That's not something we hear a lot, unfortunately. In the
look, we don't got to comment on the deal itself, but that was prime era of the 360 deals. That's all. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, we signed for like 5 albums or some shit. Yeah, shafted. But you know, you take any fucking 20-year-old kid with his 20-year-old mates and be like, "Do you want to be on this label?" You're like, "Oh yeah, where do I sign? Do you want to read it?" I can barely read. You know what I mean?
It wasn't even a question back then. Like it wasn't. I wish that back then maybe there would have been some sort of like. I think we talked about that a while back on the show. But you would think that for a big decision like that, there would be someone appointed for it, like somebody who's like guiding you. Like you would think that. But looking back, it was quite the opposite. It was just like, hey, you have a dream, sign here. It's just like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah,
so,
but not throwing shade because who knows, but maybe, you know, kind of hoping that you won't really read it and look into it, you know, just kind of playing on that. We know who we are as a label, so just sign here and maybe.
Well, it's a name thing, right? Like the moment the label is kind of known and like you want to be on the label, it's more of a
2010 Sumerian was everything, man.
Dude,
oh, yes.
It was like a genre of music. Like people would say like Sumerian core and stuff.
It was.
Yeah, and they're
Asking
making a great comeback. Yeah, Asking just fucking doing everything. Oh, another crazy moment. So Ben Bruce is one of our managers now, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not like in the public eye or whatever, but he's been one of our managers for quite some time, which is crazy.
He looks like such a good dude too. Like I don't know him personally, but like from the interviews and what I've seen, seemed like a cool, you know, cool guy. So
nah, total dick.
That's sometimes what you need as a manager, you know.
No, it's completely not. I'm just saying that.
Your hair or something.
I'm just saying that because he's probably watching, but no, he's such a legend, such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Did you? Yeah, you knew him from back in the day, I assume.
Yeah, so they were also on that Mayhem tour with Slipknot and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
They were on that tour, and so I knew all of the other guys, apart from Danny, because he doesn't come from where the other guys came from. But I played in local bands with Sam, Cameron, and James. So we went way back, and I actually met Ben on that tour, and me and Ben just hit it off like crazy. And he had his own bus at that time. They had like 2 tour buses, and he had his own, and they had like a big studio in the back. And so I'm just like the bus rider, dude. I was just like, you got.
I just want to say, that's crazy. I just have to say it. That's crazy.
I know. It's crazy. Like a full studio. So you walk into the back where a back lounge would be. Just looked like you just walked into a studio. Mental. So I was like, got any free buns in there, dude? And he was like, yeah.
Right off of a generating catching fire because that's what you needed to keep the van alive.
Yeah. So we met on that tour and we became good friends. And then the tour that we ended up doing, it was in January or February of 2013 with Motionless in White and While She Sleeps. They just put us on that tour and they were like, okay, but our guarantee wouldn't cover our costs. And Ben was like, okay, we'll just give you like 500 euros on top of that, just out of our pockets. You know, just that cool, you know, that kind of nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
Huh. That's awesome. That goes back to what we were saying earlier, but like...
That Ben's a total dick?
Yeah, well, that. No, but more so like some of these bigger bands just doing cool shit or wanting to support the homies and going the extra mile just to make sure it happens and make sure it makes sense for everyone involved and stuff. Like they had no logical reason to do so aside from like, yeah, we want to hang out with the homies, you know, give them a chance.
Yeah. Yes. That's what it's all about, man.
We don't think about that, but like most of the success stories, well, if not all the success stories, there's a moment like that. There's somebody who gives you a chance at some point, you know, and we don't hear about that much, but it's true. You kind of need, it's like we all remember finding our first job, right? Like first, like, well, it's kind of somebody like you've got nothing to show for. It's written like, oh, I'm babysitting my cousin or something. Like you've got nothing, and they're just like, yeah, I'm giving you a chance. So in any success stories, like art wise or anything, there's somebody who's like, okay,
I'll put you in my top 8.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
and make some other people mad by doing so. But
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
That was another. Yeah, some friendships are still, hurting from that era, probably.
Okay. Speaking of topic, this is gonna be the most random question that nobody's gonna give a shit about, but I have to know.
Oh god.
Because in the old band top 8, I was doing some way back machining.
Yeah.
And Henry Home Suite was in the top 8. And I just need to know, is this a personal friend? Because that shit kind of blew my mind. Because I thought I was out here being like, no one in this scene knows anything about Henry Home Suite.
Did you know him?
Well, I don't know him personally. I just say when I was 16 years old, I had a crazy chiptune phase, and Henry Home Suite was on that list.
That is mental. Yeah. So the guitarist of my old local band, Ben, he was originally from Lincoln, or I don't know where he was from, but he wasn't from Leicester, right? But he moved to Leicester with his dad, who was a priest. Funny. And like that was just his schoolmate. They were just friends at school. So he was like, "Oh, can we put my mate from school in our top 8?" We were like, "Yeah, sure." And that was literally it.
Because the chiptune guy in the deathcore band's top 8. I don't know, the crossover of worlds for me specifically. I was looking at this. I was like, "Whoa, what? What the fuck is going on here?" Yeah, we thought
it was cool. It was like, "What kind of music does he do?" He's like, "Oh, he plays Game Boys," and we were like, "Yeah, all right." Sold.
Dude, he's like still kicking it, like still doing shit. Yeah,
that's mad.
Like not like on a grand scale whatsoever, but it's just like he's still like putting stuff out on YouTube and stuff and getting crazier with like modifying the fucking Game Boys and shit and doing. That's kind of
so
crazy.
dope. That's awesome.
I want to circle back to maybe like been on like Mayhem and these sort of festivals and stuff for you guys, because I think this leads into what you do now with TEN56 as well. I'm assuming the Slipknots of the world and the kind of new metal stuff had to have been a phase for you at some point, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Can you kind of talk to me about new metal bands you like? What you like about them? What's the appeal for you?
What, now or back then?
I mean both. Because again, I think it ties into what you do with TEN56 so well, with it just stylistically, right? Like there's so many pockets of different genres you guys are incorporating into the music now.
Using your voice with the, it's pretty,
the bit of the rapping and
which I like, by the way.
The electronic elements and stuff like that. Like
I love it how it was like now or back then, like trying to pretend that I don't still like the stuff that I listened to back then. Totally
we can pretend if you want. We could pretend that.
No, I still listen to all that stuff. So how did I start listening? I mean, fucking Limp Bizkit and stuff, that was on TV, right? That was on TV, and my brother, he brought back from school one day like a burnt CD, when we used to burn CDs, and was like, listen to this, it's shit, do you want it? And I was just like, well, seeing if you've really sold it to me, so yeah, I'll take it. And it ended up being, it was Slipknot's self-titled, and that's how I found out about Slipknot.
Just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode. You already know, it's Indie Merch Store. Of course, the great people over at Indie Merch Store supporting the show. We've got a couple of things to talk to you guys today. First up, we got to talk about Arcspire. They just kicked off their headliner tour. It's going all across of Canada and the US. They're out with Undeath, Crown Magnetar, and Mutilation Barbecue. It's called the Long Roads Big Loads Tour. It's going from now up until June 6th. So you can get your tickets now, because a bunch of the cities are running low on tickets. So be sure to head over to arcspire.net to get yours. If you can't get to one of the shows, Indie Merch Store has you covered. Arcspire and Crown Magnetar, both bands, have merch for sale over on the shop. So go to indiemerchstore.com to claim yours today. Next up, we've got Angel Maker. They just came out with a banger merch line. It's a gas station t-shirt inspired merch line. They've got 3 tees and a hoodie available right now on indiemerchstore.com. And they also have an exclusive extra hoodie on their current tour with Shadow of Intent. Now, last but not least, the Red Chord coming out with the reprint of their iconic Rainbow Grinder tee. It's available right now over at indiemerchstore.com. As always, you guys can use code BRUTALITY at checkout to save 10% off of your entire order. Again, that's code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Massive shout out to Indie Merch Store for supporting the show. And now, back to the episode. What are some new metal bands you think are really cool? What's like a top new metal bands for you?
Ooh, okay.
I mean, Limp Bizkit have to be there. I mean, Slipknot, they count, right? Especially
Yeah, sure.
that self-titled. Yeah, they do count, right? What else? There's a band called, is it called Black Gold or Gold Black, something like that?
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
I'm
obsessed
listening
with
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that band.
It's
a
awesome,
lot.
isn't it? I don't know where they're from, but I know that the singer's English. You can hear it in his voice. I'm not sure where they're from, but I really love what they've got going on, like visually, and yeah, they've just got a great image, and their music's fucking awesome. And then like the newer stuff, I really like Darko US. That's cool. Yeah, you know, people kind of say, "Oh, this is new metal." It's like that new deathcore or whatever. But I really like what they're doing. Throne is sick because I feel like that kind of ties into that universe a little bit. Yeah, just all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that whole wave of like the Alpha Wolves, Darko,
Alpha Wolf.
Dealer,
Yeah.
like all those sorts of bands that started kind of incorporating that sort of sound into deathcore, I guess, you know, has been like a cool, it's definitely a byproduct of like people our age who grew up on new metal, started bands playing deathcore because that's what was cool, and now we're like, let's do the thing we loved and the thing we do together.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah. Well, when Dealer came out, like, you know, when that first EP dropped, that was like a real turning point thing for me, because regardless of, you know, whatever's happened, like when that came out, that was one of the only, you know, because I'm kind of older now, so it's kind of hard to get me with new stuff. And when that came out, I was just like so in. I was like, whatever this is, this sounds completely different. And that kind of, I was a little bit down like on music. I think it was like at the end of the BTM thing, and I'd been kind of checked out mentally from that band for quite some time. And I started kind of doubting, like, you know, is this music thing for me? And then that came amongst other bands, but that was one of them. Was just like, all right, you know, I'm still really into this because that really touched me. You know, I really liked it.
I have to, because we're talking about new metal bands, and you mentioned like Black Gold and stuff like that. Do you know about Silly Goose and Split Chains? Because if not, please listen to those two. I couldn't resist telling you. It's split. I never remember if it's Split Chain or Split Chains.
Split
Are
Chain.
they from the UK?
Yeah. Split Chain are from the UK.
Yeah, I know them. I know Split
Super
Chain,
sick.
but I'm not familiar with Silly Goose. But I'll give him a rip.
I wasn't either. I kind of found out like a while back, like a few months back. But you mentioned Limp Bizkit, and people are it's kind of the new Limp Bizkit almost, because the way he's like, it's very kind of hip hop oriented, and yeah. So
Dude, I will do it because I saw one of, you know, everyone watching. I'm a fan of what you guys are doing, and I saw a piece of content of you talking about Without a Face. And I was just like, all right, I'll listen to it because you said so. And then that fucking opening track of that new two track EP is just so sick. It is so sick. Sorry, I just had to get out of my
Hey,
system.
I mean, shout
It is
out
so
Without
sorry
a
for
Phase.
that. Yeah.
We will accept all Without a Phase glazing on this show. We
Oh.
we love the homie Kevin.
Let's glaze. There's some
Well,
vocals
hold
on there. Sorry.
I'm not kidding. He's so nice. That dude from Daughter's Fate, he sends stuff all the time, even though he doesn't have to. And I think I received like a shirt today. So like you can keep on talking. I'm just gonna grab the shirt. I'm
please
curious.
do.
I think it's the shirt from the new. Like he just dropped merch. I think for the new thing. So I'll pick it up for no reason.
Get him to send me one. I want it now.
Hey, I'll make that happen, Aaron. I've got
Dude, thank you.
I've got that boy on speed dial.
Dude, there's
I'll sort that one out.
some vocals. I'm not sure. I know there's a feature in that first track.
Yeah, well,
but there's some-
with the homie Jacob from Orphan. That's the
Yeah.
other band. We will accept all forms of glazing when it comes to Orphan as well.
I'll glaze them
100%.
both at the same time. Absolutely, no problem. But yeah, that first track off that 2-track EP, there's some vocals on there. I'm really big fan of Tyler Shelton from Traitors. I love that kind of moo, sound
Yeah.
that he does. And there's some on that track, and it sounds like a whole family of cows just having a good time. It's awesome. Let me see that t-shirt, dude.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what it is.
It's I'm mirror flipped right now, so you cannot. But you know.
Yeah. Isaf at yeah. Dude, I want one.
So,
Sick band.
Yes, sir.
so sick. He paid me to do that, but no, I'm kidding.
Not
I'll be
sponsored,
waiting
but
for the
kind of.
transfer.
Yeah, there's like a it's a whole new breed of like heavy deathcore or heavy music in 2026. I feel just means a completely different thing than it used to, right?
Yeah, that
Like-
whole production and that whole raw stuff's coming back. I'm fucking here for it, man. Psycho Frame. Yeah, anything. It's all of that stuff. It's like I'm listening to it and I'm sweating at the same time.
Can I dare ask for like a few of your favorites, if I may? Because now I'm curious. You said Psycho Frame, but like in that kind of raw comeback, do you have specifics maybe?
Yeah,
that
I
you
really like Orthodox. I don't know if I can put them in there, but yeah, I feel like the production sounds similar.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching some more of your content because I glaze you guys as well, and someone said "Girl of Glass." I think he was talking about Texas music, right? So I was like, I like that name because I think it was a Suicide Silence track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Off their EP. And I listened to that. That is dope. This 808's just going crazy. Yeah, Psycho Friend goes hard as fuck. I'll still listen to that goes mental. It's pretty much all I listen to that and then emo music still.
What's
Oh
the
my God. Yeah, I'm
we
gonna
got to
'Cause I
talk about
still
the emo
do.
music then.
Just-
What's the
'cause just
emo
for-
music of choice?
Yeah, just for context, I'm still listening to it a lot. Like today, I was listening to the first all-time low record that they act like it never happened, but like the coffee shop soundtrack and like Circles and like 2002. So just for context, so now I'm super curious to know what.
Oh, I will one up you. I will take you one higher. I legit still listen to Secondhand Serenade.
Ah, there we go. All right, let's go.
Not ironically either. I would do it. If I'm feeling a bit sad, I'll be like, I could be sadder, right? I could be more sad. Boom.
Maybe Your Call, all those songs. It was a
Your
staple.
Call was it's amazing. I still listen to that stuff. Yeah, I really
Remember
like
the-
Go on.
Sorry to cut you off. Do you remember the art surrounding it online? There was sort of like these little characters, like
Yeah.
emo.
Yeah, kind of
Remember
like
that? With, the li-
like voodoo dolls with like big eyes
Yeah.
or something.
yes,
Black and
Yeah.
pink.
yeah.
You just sit there and be like, oh, exactly. This is just my life, but you're like fucking 60, whatever.
And you think you're going through like some super difficult stuff. Like you're like, oh my God, I feel understood. Meanwhile, you're going through basically just like a teenage breakup, maybe.
Yeah, like my mum, cut off the internet for a day so I can't check my MySpace messages. And you're like, yeah, a knife in my heart
Life
for
is
sure. Yeah. Life's hard and I'm dying. let me just go stick this on.
But see that it's weird. I don't know for you guys, but for me, like my relationship with that sort of music has like changed because we don't, or at least for myself, like I don't feel that way anymore, right? Like you don't, I don't feel like this connection to the music, the sad music, it like feeling understood by the overly emo fucking thing, you know, as we did when we were 15 years old. So now listening to it, it's like a different thing. And for me, I don't know, you mentioned like, you know, when I'm sad, let's listen to something that's going to make me even sadder. That's what it does to me. And those are the moments I can't listen to emo. I'm like, I can't do this. Like some bands point blank, I just can't listen to anymore. Because it makes me too sad, man. I'm just like, I don't need this mood to be in my life right now. I'm good. You know?
I'll let you answer first, actually, because I'm curious. Yeah.
Sorry?
I'll let you go first because I'm really curious how you feel. Like, what's your relationship as Dom just asked? I'm curious to know how you feel about
it. What, to emo music and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, like the old stuff, like I'll still, you know, I'll stick a secondhand serenade on now and then. And that, I think that's like nostalgic, but also because I listened to that, you know, earlier on in my, you know, my teen years or whatever, I really gravitate to those melodies that are in emo music. You know, that those very simple chord progressions that they have in emo music and kind of nowhere else. So whenever like I don't know, maybe like Lil Peep or Juice WRLD or something kind of use those similar melodic patterns, I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. And even in TEN56, I did RLS in a song called IO, where there's some clean singing in there and stuff. And I definitely just gravitate to that kind of melodic structure that's in emo music.
Yeah, for same, by the way, like first of all, good perspective, but my relationship with emo music, because I've been saying it since forever, like I'm still in love with pop punk music, emo, like all the time, even stuff more poppy, like you guys remember for sure All American Rejects and stuff, like Swing Swing, like the first albums and shit, like dude, I still listen to that.
I was listening to that today on the train.
Hell
what?
Yeah.
Dude, right, just to put it in perspective, right? So I've got playlists on my Spotify that I, you know, go back to and stuff. I've got one called Violence, which is all my heavy stuff. One called Gym, which is also heavy stuff and some hip hop that I used to go to the gym. And there's one called Feeling Good. Anyway, there's one called Feels, and that's just all of my emo or sad songs. And I think there's like 5,500 hours of just emo and sad shit. It's my biggest playlist by far. It dwarves all of the other ones, and that's just full of shit like that. Swing. Yeah,
because I relate to what you said. You said like those melodies are specific. You're right. I cannot really find that in other,
in pop
like,
punk too.
Place where
pop punk too, they kind of share them. You know, like if a pop punk song comes out and the chorus is like kind of sad or, you know, has that melodic structure, I'd be like, yeah, just for that, I'm in, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like musically, it's like a style. It's like a style thing.
Yeah, like
I've been yearning for good post-hardcore for fucking years. Yeah. We're getting a few bands as of late. I'm like standing for fucking Static Dress over here for sure. But like we need more. It's that same kind of thing. I just miss like that style. There's like things about it that we don't find in modern music anymore.
Right, like Boundaries are doing great things. Who else? I wanted to mention Shoreline. There's a band called Shoreline, and they have some like pretty cool like emo-esque like choruses and stuff. Sick stuff.
Well, thanks to Dom, now I know about Car Underwater, which is absolutely pure insanity. And I mean, there's 3 songs, and I've been listening to it too much probably, but. Yeah, just to close the conversation about that, because I kind of want to know if I'm crazy or if you feel the same way. With nostalgia, sometimes for me it's a good thing, and I know it's going to appear like it's not. But when I listen to those songs, and I want to know if you feel that way, it's really you're going back in time in the sense that I can remember exactly how I felt, almost how it smelled, even like how like the exact like how I was in that room at the moment I was listening to it. Even moments like I'm gonna have memories like very specific in the cars with people and stuff like that. So for me, it's almost like I don't want to forget any steps of my life, like any versions of me. I want to remember it. And music for me, and specifically emo, is kind of a way to basically to go back in time and almost high five the old version of me, who understood everything and really didn't, but still it's kind of a way to so just to answer like your question, Doug, as you said, like oh, what's your relationship with emo? I feel the same way for different reasons. Like I can re-feel the sadness and stuff like that, but now it's kind of because it's gone, but it's a beautiful thing at the same time. So it's a weird kind of mix, but I really still feel those kinds of things. So I want to know, do you feel as nostalgic as I as I am? Like, is that
absolutely,
is it that powerful for you?
Absolutely. And also like emo music, a lot of it's super sad, right? And when you listen to it it was just kind of the style that was happening back then. So you didn't listen to emo music feeling sad, or it didn't make you feel sad. Like we looked at it different then. Well, me personally, I do. So when I listen to some of those really sad songs that I listened to back then, it would make me feel happy because, like you said, it would remind me of a version of me that still, kind of exists somewhere in my head. And I've never got the people that say like, oh, I used to listen to this, but it's shit. Like I used to listen to that, but it's shit. I don't feel that way. I like everything that I've ever liked previously, if that makes sense. I can't get over that. I can't. Like Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die, was it Eiffel 60? Dude, that was the first CD that I bought ever, and I ripped that shit. I listened to it like 100 times in a row. And I still like that song.
Well, I think that's what nostalgia will do for sure, right? Like it's one of those. The way I feel about what you just said there is more of like for the most part, still enjoy all the same stuff from back in the day because of the nostalgia. But I'm also able to recognize like some stuff didn't necessarily age well, or knowing that like if I listen to some of those songs for the first time ever in 2026, that I probably wouldn't be getting into it. No,
you'd be like, oh, this is trash. It's trash.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things where you're like, I don't understand why I was listening to this back then, but because you did, it's like, okay, this passes, still.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that I can relate, because like I'm even though like I'm super nostalgic and stuff like that, I can also understand that I would never listen to that. Sometimes I'm listening to something and I'm like, I'm not looking for that style in the new age. Like I wouldn't search for that. I'm listening to that because back then I was listening to that. There are exceptions. Like I still love new pop punk bands, you know what I mean? Like State Champs and whatever the scene is heading right now, Nick Deeps or whatever. But certain specific music, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't think I would get into that right now with new bands, but like because that band was such a big part of me growing up, it's kind of okay. So it depends on the band, right? Like it depends on the style of music we're talking about.
But again, like some artists are still doing emo now. It's kind of making a comeback, or it's made a comeback. And like I said earlier, like a Juice World or a Lil Peep, or I'll happen upon songs in that sphere, and it will have a lot of the same connotations as emo did back in the day, and I'll instantly like it because I have like a sweet spot for that I haven't kind of let go of. And I think it's the same as like Girl of Glass. When I first heard that Girl of Glass stuff, it's just even the production is very similar to the old MySpace deathcore stuff, and it just tickles a little sweet spot in me that I'm like, yeah, this slap, Yeah,
the raw elements, the bass drops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, not to go too much on a tangent, but I'm just curious because we're talking about music and nostalgia. Do you feel the same way about other things as well, like movies or gaming or whatever reminds you, or is it specific to music in your case?
No, yeah, I do feel the same. One of my favorite movies ever is still Billy Elliot. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's about a ballet dancing school kid. Sounds ridiculous, but awesome because the soundtrack is a lot of the stuff that my mum would listen to as a kid. Maybe even style. I mean, I'm fucking 35 now, right? But stick me in a pair of skinny jeans and I'm feeling good, Kind of have to, yeah. The dudes in my band kind of had to pull them off me, like, Aaron, it's over. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not over. It's making a comeback.
Me and Yan are for sure sporting skinny jeans, right? Well, I don't know. You've been on a larger kick lately, Yan, but I'm still with the skinnies for sure.
No, yeah. I failed. I tried because I'm working in a skate shop part time, right? So I'm with kids, and they're awesome. Like, I'm not trying to, but in their mind they invented baggy jeans, right? So like they're talking about it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, we were wearing that when we were like 7. Like it was like a big part, and it's kind of funny because I wear my skinny jeans all the time, and working there at some point I was just like, I'm gonna try it because I'm very nostalgic for the early 2000s, and you look at what I'm wearing, like it's very reminiscent. So I was like, baggy jeans would fit, and for a little while I was and everybody was just like, yeah man, it's cool, and then I was just like,
everyone cheers it on, don't they? Like, Aaron, yes, walk towards the light, get on. Like getting soaked for you wearing baggy jeans. But I'm like, I would kill somebody for like a pair of those Jim Greco crew skinny jeans from back in the day, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, to me it just I'll be honest, it just looked like, and right, it's subjective, but baggy like it just looks cool. I'm still on the skinny jeans things. Like everybody, like growing up for me, as you said, it was Mitch, it was all these things, like all my image of like what I the people I look up to was always like skinny jeans. So for me, except early 2000s with Blink-182 and stuff like that, which is probably why I tried baggy jeans recently in the first place. But it just feels weird to me. It's just not.
I don't feel weird. I don't feel like myself when it's not the skinny jeans.
Exactly. So I tried, but I failed, and now I wasted money on
I can't jeans. Wait. I can't wait for all of us to be like 85.
How old are you
guys? Still sporting the skinny jeans.
No problem.
Yeah. How old are you guys?
Well, first of all, it's gonna go back in fashion in like 3 years, probably.
Probably.
Of all.
So I'm I'm going on
35. Yan's what? You're 30, 33?
34.
34. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So we can all collectively agree that either way, we're too old to be wearing skinny or baggy jeans. We should just, have a fucking kid or whatever. But
well, it's worse with baggy jeans. I'll be honest with you. Like it's a very youthful thing. Like big baggy jeans. Like it's even, to me, it's even more youthful than like skinny, because there are levels to skinnies, right? Like now, the ones I'm wearing are not that. Like, I don't know if we're going to see it, but it's not too bad, right? Are we seeing it? Because, like, my screen is lagging like crazy. It's not too bad. But I have some skinny jeans that are, like...
Dude, you get all like, the foot fetish guys in the chat, this fucking...
for free?
Yeah, what? Yeah, blur it out and then put like an OnlyFans link or some shit.
I'm gonna have to blur this one for the upload, boys.
Sorry, I'm super. Now we're demonetized, but so for me, and it's so funny because like after very often, like when I'm working after hours, like everybody skates, right? Like everybody's there, and they're super nice, by the way. Like they're not like but it's just funny how much I stand out. There's not a single person that doesn't have like super baggy jeans, and they're this like 34-year-old with skinny and Converse skating. Like I couldn't stand out more. But I don't know about you guys, but because I want to know if it's just me, but I have this little, I'm gonna call it hipster side of me who prefers when I'm wearing isn't the big fashion. Like I have this little side of me who I prefer if it's not everybody is wearing it. So I'm cool with it.
So
personally.
skinny jeans are going
Yeah.
to come back in 3 years as you predicted, and you're going to stop wearing skinny jeans?
No, I'll still do it, but I'll be a bit pissed inside maybe. So that's.
I'm embarrassed to say I do have that unlikable trait too. Like whenever everyone starts banging on about something, I default to must be shit. You know what I mean? I'm not checking that out. I'm too cool to check that out. But also know I'm not cool at all. But yeah, unfortunately, I have that trait too. I did the same with that Angine de Poitrine stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know those guys. I was
Yeah.
nah, I'm not gonna like this. Watch one video, sold, love it, awesome.
And then you feel a bit stupid, right? Because sometimes we wait for a long time. You're like, no. And then when you do, you're like, why did I like
Game of
it's
Thrones?
awesome.
Never seen it, dude. People are like, Aaron, but it's got tits in it. I'm like, no, dude, you bigged it up too much. Now I can't see it.
You know what? Like people want we're talking about Game of Thrones, right? When people were talking about it, because I love Lord of the Ring, right? So everybody was just like, Game of Thrones. People hyped it up so much, and I'm one of the few who tried it, and I was like, I don't like that show. Like really.
Shit, we got 3 Game of Thrones haters on this panel right now.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know.
Comments about to go crazy on this one.
No, I don't hate it. I just haven't seen it. I find it hard to get down. Like I'm a big gamer and stuff, but I've always kind of found it hard to get on board with anything like medieval. It's just not a time period that I enjoy really.
Which is completely fine. But gaming wise, even in gaming, like games like Skyrim or Oblivion and stuff, or did you?
Yeah, no, I never did Skyrim. No, what? I mean, The Witcher 3. Yeah, maybe I'm just maybe it's just like a movie thing, like a Crimson Desert. I'll do that. I'll do like I tried Assassin's Creed Valhalla, even though it was shit. The whole time I was like, this is shit, and then 120 hours later, that was shit. It's crazy.
That checks out for Crimson Desert too, I assume.
Say what?
That checks out for Crimson Desert as well, I assume.
I didn't play it. I was kind of on the team kind of defending the game because it came out and there was a lot of people shitting on it and there was a lot of people being overly quick to maybe defend it. But I just knew that I've got a tour coming up and it's like a long 100+ hour game, so I just know how into games I can get. So I was like, I'm not gonna do it and then have to go on tour because it was pissed me off so much.
Yeah, it's right, because it gets good after 80 hours, Aaron. So
that's what people have been saying.
You wouldn't get to the good part before leaving for a tour.
Yeah, no, but it's awesome, man. It gets great at 80 hours. I'm like, well, I don't know if I have time for that,
It's like a show when they're just like, no, you just gotta give it 5 seasons, and I'm like, well.
Nah.
If it's good after 5 seasons, it sucks. Basically, that's what you're telling me.
Yeah, or gross food, like I don't know, fucking French people are gonna hate me for this, but I don't know, like snails or something. Like, oh, dude, with loads of garlic and loads of butter, it's awesome. Okay, so garlic and butter are really is both. That's really nice. You know what I mean? Or there's this sausage that they eat here. It's called andouillette. It's gross. It's made of like entrails. It's like tripes and shit. But it's a sausage and it smells like booty because it's booty. And French people love it with a certain, demographic. And they're like, dude, you've got to try it with loads of mustard. They're like, well, okay, so if it can't be that great because if you have to, mask it with one of the strongest condiments out there, it can't be that great. So not sold.
Yeah, it could be anything basically because you're praising what you're putting on it. So like,
yeah, dude,
could have
try this dog turd. Honestly, if you cover it with I don't know, hydrochloric acid, you won't even be able to taste it. It's great.
It's incredible, truly. But we're talking about we talked about gaming, but like, what about back then? Because like you're our age, and I'm still gonna die on that hill, but we had the best gaming era with the Xbox 360 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and shit like that. Like, what do you have a game that if you think about yourself back then, like that you were playing so much during that, MySpace era kind of thing?
Well, I had a weird like gaming journey because I played like we got the PlayStation 1, me and my brother got it, and I played just all the Tony Hawk games, and also like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot and stuff. I completed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, probably the best game of all time. Completed it hundreds of times.
Still
And
playing
then,
it. Yep.
yeah. And then, like, I moved out. I was really young when I moved out. And, like, my housemate at the time, he had a 360. I'd, like, play with them from time to time. But there was a long period where it's stupid, but I was like, gaming's stupid, I like went down that path. I was like, gaming sucks. Just go outside. I don't know why, but I did that. And it wasn't until I think it was 27 or 28, I can't remember. But one of my great friends here in France, he gifted me Assassin's Creed Origins. That's how late it was. And a friend of my partner at that time gifted us an Xbox One. And I was just like, kind of reluctantly played it. And my mind was blown. I was like, gaming is awesome. So now I've just become a massive nerd, but I've had a big space in between. So to answer your question, like Spyro, Tony Hawk's games, Crash Bandicoot, just the PS1 era. Like I didn't do PS2, PS3, or Xbox 360. I kind of jumped back on board at the tail end of like the Xbox One, PS4 era.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy. And now I'm like gaming like crazy, in my 30s, which is crazy.
Well, so what's like a favorite game right now? Let's say.
Yeah.
Well, what's your top game of all time?
Oof.
That's an awful question. No, that's an awful question. I love third person open world RPGs. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed AC Origins. I really enjoyed Odyssey as well. The Witcher 3 is good. Ghost of Tsushima is great.
So you like climbing to the top of a tower and clearing the outposts.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like grinding across a big map. I also really like, God of War, Ragnarok was awesome. Stellar Blade was great.
Cool.
Black Myth Wukong. That was like a big challenge for me because I've never been like a real like Souls gamer or anything like that, but I love that game. And right now, what am I playing right now? Oh, I just finished The Last of Us Part 2.
Cool. Hell yeah.
How was it? Just curious.
Oh, okay, that was a lie. I didn't finish it. So I finished the first one, and then I
That
played.
was my goal. I saw through it. I was like,
no, I was going to say it. So I played the first one, completed the first one. This was just recently. Like everyone's always said, like you got to play. It's amazing. So I just went back and did it because they had the remaster and it was on PS Plus. And then I've just been playing Part 2, and I got to the Rat King. Is it the Rat King? That crazy boss.
Dude, no clue. I'm asking that, and I have no freaking. I'm just interested, but I don't know.
I think it's at the end of the game, right? It's like I looked it up, but it's like a crazy, super horror, intense boss. And I don't really like when it gets intense and scary because I'm just like, I'm trying to chill. So I got to that, understood that it's kind of near the end of the game, and I'm leaving on tour soon. I was just like, whatever. I'll finish it when like my girlfriend's in the room and I'm not scared again.
That's
But awesome. Yeah, honestly, like horror games and stuff like that, I'm just not playing to be scared. I like to kind of chill. Black Myth Wukong is not very chill at all, but like I still like that style. But I like to just kind of grind across the map and just chip away at the game.
But it's like die restart type of thing. Still, it's not like it's not like scary. It's just a hard game, but
it's a hard,
it's a different kind of stress.
Yeah, I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 is hard, but it's just that's just stressful.
No, I meant Black Myth, but
yeah, that I did look at some guides on YouTube and stuff. I did all of the side content too, so I was stuck on Erlang, like the secret boss at the end, forever. I never want to see that game ever again.
I just think it's funny because like I couldn't relate more, dude. Like I used to do streaming a while back, and because I'm so terrified of scary games and stuff, people would exclusively just ask me to play scary stuff because like I was reacting a lot, and I hated every second of it. I'll just be honest. I don't hate a lot of things in life, but that I really hated it. And right now, what my favorite game at the moment is like it's called Retro Rewind, and you're managing a 90s VHS store. Like that's the game I'm playing. Like I'm chilling, like I'm running a store, like nothing can happen.
Oh
ever.
yeah. Dave the Diver,
retail store simulator. So he clocks out of work from his retail store and then plays a retail store simulator when he gets home.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's hilarious.
Exactly what I'm doing. But
I totally feel you.
I'm into customization in general in games. Like I don't know why, but like I love survival games. And when I say that, people are like, "Oh, what'd you like about it?" Building my base and decorating it. Like that's the part that nobody cares usually. I love that part. So like managing the store to me is like, oh, what layout, like what section. So I'm very far from the horror movies games, which sucks because the aesthetic is awesome, but I'm gonna be terrified, so I'm not.
I love horror movies. I can watch horror movies all day, all night. But horror games, people are like, oh my god, did you play Resident Evil with the fucking headset on? I'm like, no, why would I do that? Sounds fucking awful. It sounds like a really bad time. I don't want to do that. No.
When I got my PS3, I got it late into the cycle. I just bought it, and the two games I had were Dead Island and Dead Space.
That looks fun though. Dead Island. It looked.
Yes, but it's like a constant stress. Like both of these games are just a constant stress of jump scares and something attacking you from behind, and you can hear the footsteps coming, and you never know where shit's gonna fucking jump out from. And for a minute, I was like, I want to chill at the end of my day. These games cannot be it. I don't want to be stressed right now. Fuck this.
It's crazy, like looking back now at the graphics and being like, I was super scared at like 5 polygons. You know what I mean? Like, no, not those 7 pixels, and there wasn't any 3D audio or anything. You're like, oh no, like honestly scared. Dude, one of the games that got me was the Alien. I think Alien game. And it was like a pixelated thing, and you had that pixelated alien that would like jump on your face, and it was like 10 pixels. And I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, but it's the jump scare, right? It's the loud noise at the same time, and the fact that it's unexpected, and
it's still in my mind. Resident Evil 2, at some point you're walking, there's no sound in the game. I'm pretty sure I'm still traumatized by that. There's like a shadow. There's a window, a door, like sometimes there's like a square window so you can see. You just see sort of a shadow passing by, and then you're like, okay. And after that, there's like this creature that goes like on the ceiling. I'm still hunted by that. Like I'm not kidding. Like I was super young. I think I was like.
Rumor has it Yan hasn't slept since.
That would make sense, actually. That would explain a lot.
Dude, we've been on this video game like TV tangent for ages. Imagine people tuning in like, hell yeah, I want to talk about, listen to music stuff. Just 3 middle-aged dudes just like, hey, remember this?
Hey.
It's a very big possibility with us that it turns like that.
I mean, fans of the show will have come to expect it at that point. We are the nostalgia folk on here. But we would be remiss. We do have to talk about. We didn't even talk about 1056 at all.
Well, that would be a good segue.
That's crazy talk. So we got to do it because I'm genuinely interested either way. But I think there's an interesting conversation perhaps to have around the band, the lyrical content, perhaps addiction. Congratulations on the 1 year.
Yeah.
Opiate free, by the way.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, thank you.
What can you share about all that?
Well, I don't know where to start with that. Well, I do want to say out of the gate though, like I really, there's some of our fans and stuff and people around us, I really don't want to be seen as like a poster child for sobriety, because, you know, unfortunately, I still drink. You know, I still drink and have a nicotine addiction and stuff like that, and, you know, still working that out. So I really don't want to put myself over as like some sobriety king that is like some kind of example, because that's definitely not who I am. Yeah, I mean, where do
I'd maybe be curious if you're open to it, maybe a bit of your personal story, maybe with addiction and kind of getting, because I know you went to rehab and that was a thing, and I don't know, maybe again, if it's not too personal, if you don't mind sharing, maybe what led up to that point, what the context was like, and then kind of coming out on the other side of that.
Yeah, imagine me getting offended by it. Like, I've only write songs about that exclusively, and be like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, no, but to be fair, some people use music as the outlet, and that's where they want to leave it, right?
And it would be completely fine. Like, we're very mindful of that.
Absolutely, no problem. I mean, it all stems from just being anxious. I'm just super anxious all the time, always have been. So, I mean, as far as I can remember, like back, I started drinking early, and I really just have an addictive personality, you know. So when something comes along that kind of helps me deal with just being anxious, another thing is like what do you call it? Imposter syndrome. But I don't feel like, you know, I could look at the internet and look at myself or some of the achievements and stuff and be like, that's not me. And I've always found it really hard to like give myself value, if that makes sense. Just pat myself on the back. I've never been able to do that, which is unfortunate. And so, yeah, anything that helps me deal with anxiety, and whether it's a healthy way of dealing with it or an unhealthy way of dealing with it, I could know that it's bad and still gravitate towards it, because in the moment, like curbing that anxiety or that bad feeling is just the main kind of like main goal. You know, you could be like, Aaron, but, you know, don't do that because you're going to get addicted and look into the future. I'll be like, I don't care. I just want to not feel this way right now. And unfortunately, that's kind of where I'm at, you know, in my daily life, kind of learning to live with it. So, I mean, the opiate stuff that happened, I've had a bunch of back problems, you know, just from touring in vans and headbanging my whole life. And before that, skateboarding, right? So yeah, I had a few operations and stuff like that, and was just over prescribed opiates. You know, here in France, in Europe, like everything's paid for. You know, you completely reimburse for anything, right? So when a doctor's like, you should take these, I'd be like, hell yeah. And I was just taking loads of them, along with benzos as well, clean off benzos. I didn't announce that I was a year clean off benzos because I had to taper, and that taper took longer than the opiates, but glad to be benzo free. That's great.
Congrats, again, by the way, because it is a tough thing, right?
It's really tough because, again, like I was prescribed all of this stuff. I mean, and of course, when you're going through addiction, you kind of play the system a little bit. You know, you'll say after a little while, you'd be like, okay, maybe I'll tell my doctor this, or, you know, say that this is hurting a little bit more than it is in order to kind of retain what you want. And that's where the addiction kind of starts. But even with the benzos and stuff, that, unfortunately, like I was prescribed benzodiazepines for, I think it was 9 years, by the same doctor as well. And I was, I think, naive. I didn't really know that benzo addiction was really a thing. I kind of done a bit of research, and like the general consensus was like, okay, opiate addiction, that is the worst. Like benzo's bad, but like I never stopped taking them in those 9 years, never stopped taking them enough to even feel like what withdrawal even feels like. So, I mean, the opiates came to am I going too far? Stop me if I'm going too far.
Absolutely not.
we're here for your story, and
Yeah.
we're specifically about all this sort of stuff. So
Very, very interesting. And
whatever you're comfortable with, we're comfortable with. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with all of it. So, I mean, the benzo is the same, right? I mean, doctors would prescribe me that stuff because I have a generalized anxiety disorder, and that's the fix, right? That's the fix. And so anything to just kind of take that edge off, I was just like, hell yeah, do it. But where it kind of became a problem is like my touring schedule, and with opiates, and with benzos as well, you just build up this crazy tolerance. And then when you're not taking, I wasn't taking opiates, like ran out or, was on the road or, just didn't have any. And then I would just, it's cold, sweating, my whole body's hurting, you just
because you have no way of getting at that point because you're not in France anymore, type of thing. Yeah.
That's it. And also like it becomes the center of everything. So like you've got a tour coming up and you're just thinking, all right, how can I get enough in stock to go over there? And it just becomes like the focus of it all, when the anxiety was kind of the reason. Now you're just feeling anxious about not being able to have any. Am I going to, be withdrawing in front of family or friends on stage? It's just the whole thing. So I was, I think people knew because I was writing songs about it and stuff like that. But I think it's like a touchy subject. No one really wants to be like, hey, you addicted to it? Do you have a problem or whatever? And I think it's with age as well. I just had to come out and tell the guys, like, listen, I'm really addicted to this stuff. And like with the touring schedule, I don't even have enough time to withdraw, and I'd done it before at home, but just kind of fell off the wagon. So that was a real turning point for me, was just being super honest. I told the guys, and I had to have a conversation with the management, like, hey guys, I'm going to have to go away. And all of that anxiety that builds up around that situation just goes away because you spend a lot of time keeping it to yourself, and your addiction kind of happens in secret. You're not taking pills in front of everyone, and
that's a vicious cycle, right? It feeds the need for more because you're more anxious. Yeah,
that's it, and it fills the shame too, because then shame happens because you're doing it in secret, so you feel kind of seedy, and you feel that you're being dishonest, and you just don't feel good at all. You feel trapped and you can't tell anyone about it. So yeah, I told all the guys, told our management, told my mum, I just told everyone, and everyone was like, okay, cool, no problem. And I was like, what do you mean? I've been like building it up in my head for years, and met this really great doctor here in France, and we came off tour. We was on tour in Scandinavia with While She Sleeps, and we had our I think it was French headlining tour just afterwards, and he managed just to like free me up a space in rehab. So I came straight off tour, went into rehab, came out of rehab, and went straight on tour, and it was great, and yeah, I don't know where to go from there. Sorry, but it was just awesome. Like I came out thinking, wow, like I can't believe that I kept that to myself for so long, feeling embarrassed when you can just ask someone for help, and it's not easy and it's really hard. But yeah, I think shame is like one of the big things that keeps people in addiction. Perhaps I don't want to make assumptions, but that was one for me, because who wants to say like, to your partner, to your parents, to your friends, like, hey, I'm addicted to drugs. It's awful,
Well, I think it ties up to what you talk, because I can relate, by the way, like just while we're here, I don't think I could be more anxious than I am.
Can't confirm.
No, it's the maximum, like always over time. I'm the kind of person I'm with my friends, and the moment I get home, I'm like, was I weird? Was I like, it's me all the time. I go with my family. They're the kindest people, and after that I'm like, was annoying, I think.
Yeah, I think my mom
Or
hates me actually.
when I said that, it was so stupid. Like, and I'm really trying to correct that because there's this other spiritual part of me who's like, hey, be kind to yourself and stuff. So like, I'm in the middle. I feel like my head is a spiritual war inside of it all the time. So it's pretty crazy. And on top of that, I'm scared of all the sicknesses that exist. So I'm just saying that just to say I couldn't relate more to what you said. And when you're talking about rehab and stuff like that, I don't know if it works like that for you, but anxiety sometimes freezes you. And any big step, like your mind is just, even if when you know it's going to help me, that's the right thing I need to do, it kind of freezes you a little bit because it's still a step into the unknown. I don't know if it's that for you, but that's what happens to me.
Totally, yeah. And like I said before, I have a real habit of, maybe it's auto-destruction, I'm not sure, but just not seeing any value in myself. And so, when you go to take a step like that, there's that little voice in your head that goes, why? Just why do you deserve better? Just, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to take that room at the rehab center. Someone else deserves it better. And it's sad, but that's just the way it is. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting a bit introspective, but yeah, that's kind of the thought process, unfortunately, that happened. And you just got to work towards being like, all right, maybe I do deserve to be better. And plus, when you're at the bottom, it's much easier to just be like, oh, fuck it, we can go lower. Why not?
So you often feel like it's too late, or like, oh, I'm already in, like you're.
Yeah, I'm already fucked.
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're kind of thinking at this point anyway. Won't
Yeah.
get worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to know that, like, for me personally, and I also feel, just a little side thing, I also feel like this is weird because this is something that I've only verbalized just recently, even to myself, right? Because like I started this band because I had so many things to talk about, like these, subjects about addiction and, just about what's going on inside my head and stuff. And it's almost like I sang so many songs about it that it's kind of, it's hard to verbalize. Hold on, just bear with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's an image that, like my artistic image, and we're not the only band to talk about this kind of stuff. There was or is a whole wave of bands that talk about anxiety and depression. It's kind of an aesthetic almost. And it's like, hold up, where am I going with this? It's like it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf almost. It's like it's my aesthetic, and like gained fans talking about this stuff, and you start to think like, is that actually how I feel? Or because now I've written songs about it, you've kind of like made it into this whole thing, and it's kind of easy to stray away, like, oh shit, like I wrote those things for a reason, that's how I feel. But it's also this kind of aesthetic, and that kind of pulls back to this, unfortunate hipster mentality, like, oh shit, now I've made my troubles a cool aesthetic, so like I don't really want to be associated with them. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, because this is a thought that I've very recently had.
Is it okay? Maybe I'm reading into this too much. So
go ahead.
I'd like your input on this, but to me, it kind of also maybe feels like, these are snapshots in time, right? Like these songs that you're writing about, and you're now kind of on the other side of some of those stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, right? Like you say, like the band becomes like, that's like the image of the band. That's what it's known for. That's what people like us are going to ask you questions about when you go onto a show or an interview, or the fans come and meet you in person. That's like the thing that people are going to, a lot of people are going to gravitate towards. But then if you're like somewhat on the other side of that, then I could see a world where you're kind of like, well, this isn't necessarily me anymore, right? Like there's like
yeah, Yeah, that makes sense.
I know you've talked about it as being like also maybe like a reminder, like you can go back to these songs and be like, let's not do that again, type of thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. What I'm getting at is like, okay, so wrote these songs about, you know, suicidal ideation and anxiety and all these stuff are very real problems that I have to live with, right? But then once you see it, for example, on a t-shirt, and you got the band name all cool, maybe there's like a noose there, and you're like, oh, now it's just a cool aesthetic, and now you're like, oh shit, now I'm like making it kind of cool, and yeah, it's like, oh, now it's cool, now we don't
or commoditize it, or like,
yeah, and you kind of become detached from what is your reality, because now it's just something that people are like, yeah, that's cool as hell. I like that song that you did, you know, the diazepam, that was great. You know, and you're like, whoa, shit, hold up, that was actually me at one point. So you know, gotta, yeah, it's strange world to live in. And plus, when you overthink and get anxious about everything as a rule of thumb, then you just, you know, that's a recipe for just being like, what
that's
is
a lot of that thinking, yeah. yeah, for sure.
I was thinking, it's crazy, Jan, how, because you feel that way, right? That you do this. Because I know full well that once we get off of this, I'm going to be, you know, going over everything I said. Oh, I must have looked like a total idiot. You know, I won't be able to sleep because I'll be thinking, oh, you must have made a right twat of yourself. So how do you do this? With, you know, feeling that way.
Thanks for the question. Well, actually, because I'm going to include YouTube in this, because I'm also posting videos. For me, the live thing, I'll be honest, and not to be too emotional with Doug, because I'm making him, you know, all the time. But truly doing it with someone, like, he's so honest as a person that if I would fuck up anything or whatever, like he's gonna tell me, like, straight up. So that sort of being surrounded by someone who's like, we're very similar and yet super opposite, like extremely opposite in others. I'm like the dreaming person all the time, and he's kind of just bringing me back a lot of the time. So that secures me a lot.
For better or for worse, depending on the scenario.
for better, because that's something that I did in my life. Even like my best friend that lives like right downstairs, he's the same way. So I've surrounded myself by people who are not yes men. So like with my anxiety, I need people to just tell me straight up. So that way I know that even when I'm about to get anxious and I'm like, he straight up would tell me. Like my kind of friends, like recently I went back to my scene hair for, I don't know why I did that, but I did. And the first thing he said when he walked in the room is just like, oh, so you're emo again. Like there no filters, so which is good in my life. So I think that helps a lot. This is a stupid example, but I think it helps. But the YouTube thing, I swear to God, 3 years doing that, and every single time I'm terrified that maybe I fucked up or said something that, and I don't have controversial opinions in general. I'm like really, you know, cozy and chill,
vanilla?
but somehow terrified, you know. I don't know why I do that to myself, but it's still scary to release something because I'm the only one who watched it, right? Like most of the time. So it's like, I don't know. So that I'm still kind of terrified. But the live thing, weirdly, just excited. As you said, I still have those same thoughts though afterwards, for sure, because it's the story of my life. I'm overthinking everything. I couldn't overthink more. That I can swear. It's impossible to overthink more than I overthink. So I do that with the show as well. But at the same time, I trust them, right? Because not to talk about it like right now, but you know, we have improved a lot of stuff, and we've always been straightforward, like, you know, so I know he would, like, I trust him enough that if I fucked up that much, or if I was like the worst, I would at least know about it. So I think, to answer your question, took me an hour, but I think that's.
I think the same question could be posed about writing and performing music, though, right?
Ironic.
Yes.
Ironic, isn't it?
Even ironic, maybe worse. Like I mean,
like music is forever in most cases.
Well,
performing live, dude? Like when you have these thoughts, like you're a performer, you know? Like I'm chilling, I'm here with beverage. I get to pee when I want. You cannot do that.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty ironic, right? Because, you know, people that I'm close to that know me, right? I can't go into like a mall, you guys say a mall, like go into a shopping center where there's bright lights and H&M and stuff. I can't do it. I mean, I'll do it, but I'll be sweating the whole time. I'll be paid in the face, sweating, because there's loads of people around, and I have to run up, have to go away somewhere and sit down, because it's just, I don't like crowds of people. You know, I just don't like any of those situations. So people that are close to me, like, yeah, but how do you, you know, you're kind of in the wrong job, right? But it's different. I don't know. It's strange because like the anxiety thing, maybe it's just like understanding it, but it's definitely gotten worse as I've gotten older, right? So like when I started touring, I would definitely thrive in going out into the crowd, maybe, you know, socializing with people and, you know, going to the merch and being around and stuff. But as I've gotten older, it's definitely developed into like, oh, you know, really trying to avoid those situations, which is a shame. But performing, being on stage, I'm totally fine with that. That's cool.
Kind of two separate things. Can I ask you something? I'm curious if, because you're like me, I think like being introvert, like you like being at home. Do you feel like you need to recharge as soon as you get back from a social event, like literally recharge for a while?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you need really, time to reflect and and second guess everything that happened in a social gathering.
Yeah. Dude, I need to go into a room and shit on myself for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And it's unfortunate because, you know, even spending time with like people that I really like, or, you know, it's so-and-so's birthday and we're meeting up in the bar and there's loads of really close friends that I haven't seen in a while. You know, it's unfortunate. I don't want to almost feel embarrassed saying it because I don't want them to be seen. But they know me, right? These close friends. But as soon as they get out, I'm like, where's the exit, right? How long do I have to stay? How long is acceptable? Like, I'll be thinking, okay, if I stay for an hour, but maybe like, is that too short? Maybe if I stay for an hour and a half, like when can I leave? And when is acceptable amount of time that when I leave, no one will be like, dude, that wasn't cool that you left so early. You know, it sucks, but that's just the way it is, and kind of working on it. But yeah, it's just where I am, you know.
No, I was sorry, Dom, go.
Well, I was just gonna say that all of that kind of also stems from like the shame part of it too, right? Because ultimately you'd be like, hey, I'm feeling anxious and I could only handle 20 minutes in this place. Your close friends would understand, right? But it's
but in that time, you've got that anxiety going on. So like you thinking the worst possible outcome of every possible situation. So you're just sitting there like fuck, and it's really not that deep. And you know, like you go to sleep. I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up the next day like, what the fuck was I stressing for, man? I was stupid as hell. I was stressed for nothing. But then the same day I'll be starting on something else. So it's crazy. And I really don't want to be come across like I'm throwing a pity party for myself. You know, that's definitely not it. You know.
If it can reassure you, because I know we are gonna feel the same way afterwards. We love that part, like those kinds of discussions.
Normalizing it, right? Like these things are just normal things, right?
It's one of my favorite things to talk about. First of all, I feel heard because like it's everything you're describing. It's me, and I could go even beyond that. You were talking about addiction. I've dealt with that. You said, "Oh, I had an addictive person." I had one, believe me, and I had to stop a lot of things, and it was horrible, and my anxiety kicked when I stopped all my addiction at once, because not only an addictive person, but also someone who's only in extremes. So when I stopped, it was like, oh, I'm gonna stop everything at once with no, and it was like just the worst, because that's the way I am, right? Always in the extreme. But I love talking about it, anxiety like that. And I have a question, by the way, still in that topic, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
I had this reflection. Not to say that anxiety is positive, because I really don't think it is, but I never met, like, I feel like anxiety brings empathy, like, automatically. Like, you cannot feel that way and then be an asshole to people, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you feel you want, and I could be wrong, maybe it's just me projecting because I want everybody to feel great, but everybody I mean, that the discussion that we have right now, it's always kind, like, I don't even know you personally, I can tell, like, you have a good heart, you're a good person, and it's been my experience so far. I've never met someone who feels that way, and, like, it, with all due respect, is a piece of shit, because that wouldn't make any fucking sense. Like, you feel that way, like, you understand.
You overthink all of your, you overthink everything and want everyone to be okay, but simultaneously you're just an asshole.
Yeah, like, that wouldn't. So isn't it like kind of a part of, like, it sucks, but it also sort of comes with empathy, and you want people to feel, because ultimately all those questions you have when you come back, it's also because you care about people in a certain way. Yes, it's out of, you're thinking, was I weird? Am I a weird? Like, do I even know how to be human?
It's strangely egotistical if you think about it, right? Because it's, I'm not saying that I'm egotistical, but, all of these worries, it's like self-worries, right?
That's true. That's true.
Then you start to think, like, maybe I'm an arsehole. Like, am I only really worried about myself? That's another thought.
I can see that.
I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not an arsehole, because, just like anyone who's gone through addiction and, has drank a lot, and, I've done arsehole things, and those are also things that, like, dwelling on that, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'd love to say, yeah, I think I am empathetic, yeah, but I don't think that I have the self-worth necessary to kind of put myself on, like, I'm not an arsehole pedestal. But yeah, I guess I'm not.
No, but just you saying that disproving my point that you're that you're a good person. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to be in the ego, but you have a good perspective, though. It's true that the way we think when we come back, it lacks perspective in the sense that it's assuming that everybody's focused on you when it's not the case. It's really not.
That's
People
what
are
I mean.
enjoying their night, they're doing their stuff, like, they didn't even think. But I can promise that every time I was bringing that up, I would be with my friends afterwards, like the other time, and I would be like, hey, last time, and they would, I remember my friend looking at me being like, you were thinking about that, like, what?
You really think we care that much about you, bro? You're like, wait, what? You're not that special.
We couldn't wait for you to leave. You should have left earlier.
Yeah, but you're at home thinking, damn, they're probably fucking talking, loads of shit about me, but they couldn't give a two flying fucks. They're getting on with their night.
You leave the room and you're gone, and they're just, like, moving on with their lives. Like, that's what's happening. Like, I leave the shop, the skate shop. They're kids. They're awesome, and I'm like, was I rude when I left? Like, the minute I wasn't even out yet, and they kind of forgot they're just, like, moving on with their lives. Like, people are, we forget. I'm including myself in that. When we have these, like, self-doubts or whatever, we forget that people have enough worries already. Like, they're thinking about their life, their stuff. It was just like, oh, we hung out with him. It was good.
They're thinking about how they're being perceived by their friends.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You're like, wait, but what if I'm the main character in everyone's life?
That's kind of it, though. That's kind of...
It's kind of it.
Not intentional.
It's not the way that you think, but, like, when you put it on paper, you're like, oh, shit, So that's... that's kind of where I stand on that. I do often feel, like, egotistical, and you worry so much about what people think, but that's also at the same time, like, thinking that everybody fucking gives a shit when honestly, like they probably don't, right? You
I-
know,
I-
you're
I
at
just-
home
I
like,
just-
damn,
I'm sure
everyone
don't.
that's
I just want to point out how meta that whole line of thinking is. the perception
Yeah.
of what's being perceived by the
Yeah.
by
And none of
by
that
the other people.
happened. None of that,
Yeah, none of that
ever
happened.
By the way, it's all made up. Like all that taught, and I have
Yeah.
these thoughts all the time. Nothing happened out of that. Like all those scenarios, like gone, like not even close to be happening. And you want to know the biggest irony? Because I'm assuming you're like me, like that. You care about those details, like was I rude or whatever, but at the same time, you literally don't give a shit about what people think about the way you look or your music taste or whatever. Couldn't give a shit about that. But the way, like, was I kind? Was I rude? Like, did I super important? But the way I look or how you perceive me or you think I'm a loser, couldn't give a shit. I don't know if you're like that, but that's kind of the irony, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, exactly like that. You know, as much as I'd love to be like, nah, you know, I don't care what people think. I don't give a fuck. Or, you know, I can give a shit what anyone thinks about me, but it's just totally untrue. So yeah, it's a shame because that is like a persona that I would love to have because it seems great and it's kind of cool, right? But you know, no, that's not me, you know.
And there's certain days, not to sound like by all means I'm not better than anybody else, but sometimes I wish I would be one of these people who would wake up, and my only thought would be, I'm hungry and I'm gonna eat,
Can you imagine?
and then I'm like, this food is good. Like sometimes I wish, or I could be in a car just thinking I'm in a car. Like sometimes I wish
Being
I
present,
could
right? Being present.
just here, yeah. Sometimes, you know.
Being present, that's one of the hardest things to do because I think with everyone that's anxious, and that it seems, by the way, it seems to be everyone these days, right? But it's just worrying about what's going to happen next or what could happen next, but so much so that you're not able to kind of appreciate what you're doing in that time. You know,
And the worst part is
like
that we
being
know.
on stage and be like, oh, you know, this is awesome, but you know, definitely not thinking that. Thinking, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna grab my charger because I'm almost out.
Yeah. You're good.
One
We're
second.
gonna wrap up here, anyways. In a
Okay,
second.
yeah, can we talk about my band a little bit, though? Do you mind?
Absolutely,
I'm just
absolutely,
joking.
brother.
That was very interesting, though. Love that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. You know, kind of giving me a platform to talk about that, and I appreciate the conversation that we have. And yeah, you guys seem really nice dudes. And plus, I'm a fan of both of you, so I'm like fangirling to a certain extent. So that's great too.
All right.
Thanks, man. That's really nice.
1056. You like secretly worked on this band for like a year prior its release.
Yeah. Actually, so sorry. Did you have something else to say? I feel like I might have cut you off.
No. I'm. Can you? I'd be curious from you know, from you starting the band and like wanting to do something different and how that kind of came about, because it ultimately also seemed like you mentioned earlier, kind of being checked out of the end of Betraying, but it also seemed like you left on, correct me if I'm wrong, but outside looking in, seemed like you left on great terms with the band as well. So I don't know if there's anything to
so
speak to.
I was clocked out. Yeah, I was clocked out. So the overlap was so much so that we were writing, I don't know what album it was, 4th, 5th. Anyway, the next album we was writing with Betraying the Martyrs, and we were like in a studio somewhere out in the sticks, and we had this house, like a farmhouse with like a studio in it, and we'd stay there and we'd write and we'd record and do all the, you know, the writing process. But so I was kind of recording myself like pre-pro vocals or whatever, and I realized I was checked out because I'd also been working on the 1056, and we had the skeleton, like the demo of Diazepam. That's all we had. You know, I just had that, and I was listening to Diazepam like 50 times a day, just like, this is so dope. And also I was recording like on BTM's time, it kind of sucks, but I was supposed to be writing and recording vocals for that, but I was like in the studio recording the diazepam vocals, and I would listen to like, I would just listen to it over and over and over again, and I was just like, oh shit, like I just told myself like, okay, it seems like I don't care that much about what we're doing in the studio with BTM right now. I'm just not present for it. However, I'm like super stoked on whatever this is. And yeah, that's how much the overlap was. I was recording both of them at the same time. And yeah, basically, so I was like I was kind of working out the next deal with Betraying the Martyrs for the record deal. And I had to, that was the point that I was just like,
it's like, are you in or are you in? Like, it's like now or never type of
well,
moment.
I was kind of talking up the band,
Yeah.
That's it. I was like talking up the band to the label boss and, going through the motions, and he was like super stoked on the band, and I was like, thanks, and this and that. And when we came to sign the deal, I was just like, you seem like a really nice guy. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that, I'm not going to be part of it. Like, I don't feel like I want to do it anymore. And he was like kind of bummed. And then he was like, do you want me to sign your new band? And I was like, yeah. And that's basically how the record, that's how that happened,
Yeah. You also mentioned earlier, like you felt like for a while you weren't even sure. Maybe you were just checking out of music, right? Like all together, because it may be kind of like you thought that falling out of Betraying maybe was a sign of also just music in general. New bands weren't really exciting you and stuff. You mentioned some bands that were bringing some of that stuff back to you.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you're saying, it seems like, just working on this new material for the new band was like, oh fuck, like, okay, maybe I'm not done type of thing. Like, what was that for you? Like, what made it exciting for you, I guess, is the question.
What made I really don't want to throw any shade, like unintentionally, right? But basically, I had all of these things that I wanted to say, and also, like, I played with Betraying the Martyrs for so long, but I was never a fan of like clean singing on metal. I just really loved the whole Amur thing, still do, top 3, and like the stupid heavy deathcore stuff. And while I got some of that at the beginning of Betraying the Martyrs, the first album's kind of deathcore-y.
Sure.
But we slowly veered away from that, and I didn't really connect with the music that we're doing. And also, I came into Betraying the Martyrs as a new singer, like you mentioned before. So I always felt like the new guy. And that's, that's probably that imposter syndrome or, anxiety kind of sticking around. But 11 years later, I still felt like the new guy. And I didn't feel like I had enough skin in the game to be like, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we maybe go in this direction? Because I just felt like the new guy, right? And like, so they had their thematic kind of, they had their theme down, they had what the band is about. And I felt like I couldn't really talk about all this stuff because it just wasn't what the band was about. So I just felt like I needed to start something new, something extremely heavy, because that's what I listen to, and something where I can just talk about literally fucking whatever. And I felt like I just needed to start again, and
I heard you kind of say, I've heard you in a couple different contexts in regards to music,
right,
but also in regards to addiction, kind of this sense of having a second chance.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I mean, when you're in a band, it's not just what you put out, it's what you live, right? So when you spend 11 years touring with the same guys, you have highs, but you also have lows, and those lows kind of stick with you. And I just kind of felt like I just wanted a fresh start, because I was holding on to these lows and, maybe internal issues that you do have along the way. Definitely weren't any at the end, but, you do have those. And
it's like like accumulated like baggage.
Yeah. It's just like a relationship, basically. Being in the band is just like being in a relationship. And certain things that maybe you've done or other people, you just kind of hold on to it and you can't let it go. And I just felt like I just needed a fresh start, and I needed something that felt like mine, because I never was able to feel like I was like it was mine, you know.
Your
felt like
baby,
it was
like
everyone-
from the start, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like I was a visitor, and that's probably like a lot in part, largely in part, due to me and just the way that I feel, and like it's probably my fault, because I never probably felt like the self confidence and the self esteem to. Yeah, I probably, it's probably due to me not feeling good enough. Like I didn't go and grab that, like what was there for me, It's probably my own fault.
Was it scary for you, like, because you're kind of, I know you mentioned like, the band got the label kind of right away and stuff like that, and seemingly the band like kicked off pretty strong too. I think there was there was hype, I think, pretty much immediately with the new band and stuff.
Yeah.
But it still must have been kind of scary to be like, fuck, I'm kind of going from scratch, trying to get a new fan base. So, like, how was releasing like music initially being like, when you guys dropped the first single, being like, oh, are people even gonna like this? Like,
shitting myself. I was so scared. I was so scared. Well, I don't know if you recall, but so the announcement that I was leaving Betraying the Martyrs was on the same day. So
Yeah, exactly.
I announced my departure, and then I think it was 1 hour later, announced the new band, and I was shitting myself, man. I asked a good friend of mine, I was like, can I come to your house just so I can do the announcement, because I can't be alone. I was so nervous. It was crazy.
And then you guys started touring pretty fast also with the band.
Yeah.
Like I said, like there seemed to, like hype seemed to it seemed to connect with people kind of straight off the bat. I think obviously you bring your own like vocal style, and people who like you for you and your vocals and what you bring to music, obviously that transfers over. But I do think there's like it's like weird, because now that we've heard 1056, I do feel like that is you. Like, and we're having this conversation today and talking about all these different things and stuff from different genres and all this stuff, and then you relate that to the music you're making now, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Aaron. Like I feel like it couldn't have been another way, or like it's hard to imagine you doing other music, even though that's like kind of one-dimensional way of thinking, but like it really does feel like a lot of your DNA in it.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. Perhaps I was just like trying to live my deathcore dream from the start of Betraying the Martyrs, and just kind of kept that, just hoping it would get heavier and heavier. But yeah, a lot of people were just like, yeah, it makes way more sense, like, duh, I take that as a compliment, but also I do want to take this opportunity to say that everyone else in the band is awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take the spotlight in any way, shape, or form. And even like on a personal level, the guys in the band in 1056 have been so awesome. Like, especially in the start, and even now, actually, like when I have something that I want to talk about, I'll be a bit sheepish and a bit like nervous to tell them, because I want them to feel comfortable too. And I'll be like, oh guys, is that okay if we talk about this? It's pretty dark. And they'll be like, Aaron, talk about whatever you want. We got your back. Just talk about whatever. Just get it off your chest. And I'll be like, oh, thanks so much. I don't want to bother you and stuff. And they've been like so supportive, right? Because especially at the start, I was a little bit, just a bit anxious to talk about a bunch of stuff, and they were just really supportive about it. They were like, absolutely, man, just like say what you need, and that was really touching for me, and to know that I have that support from my bandmates, like they've given me a platform too. Like, this isn't something that is just because of me, or it's because of them too, and the fact that they allow me in a sense to have this platform, and I really appreciate that. Sorry, I kind of went off, but I really wanted to make sure I get that in there.
Oh no, I love it, dude. And I feel like I don't know, for me personally, I feel like that sort of subject matter and those kind of lyrics, if anything though, like fit so well with heavy music, Like
it does.
with
I
like
don't make
fucking
the rules.
breakdowns
It
and
just
shit,
does.
like the call outs, it just works, you know, like
It just does.
the kind
I
of
don't make the
one-liners that
rules.
come with that sort of stuff. It's easy to make that
It's
be
relatable
like
also.
pissed, you know, and like in your face, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I love the brand of just how low the guitars are. Like that sort of punchy type of breakdown, very breakdown
angry
heavy type
core.
of band. I don't know.
Angry
Less
core,
riffs, more
piss core.
breakdowns. I love that shit.
Yeah, piss core, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, we got lucky. I mean, I often, I'm a bit hard on myself, like, oh shit, I wish I'd done this earlier, right? Because I wanted to do something like this. But I don't think it could have come at a better time. You know, I guess we got a bit lucky because this is everything that I've ever wanted to do, like musically. I love the music that we make, and I feel so drawn towards that kind of music. And I don't know, you just came together, like the whole sphere just came together. I'm like, oh, you know, like when Dealer happened, and I was just like, yes, obviously, just the stars were aligning. But yeah,
Yeah.
do
That sort of
kind of wish
style
that-
becoming a thing at all to begin with, right?
yeah.
Like
It's
a band like 1056 wouldn't have really existed in like 2015. Like there just wasn't really like a style, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, God knows that I wanted to be sworn in. Well, like sworn in, dude.
Yeah, that's it. That was that was the precursor for sure. Those sorts of bands.
When
the
Death Card came
Barriers
out, I was like,
youth.
I hate
Youth
everything.
Forever.
I want to be that band now. That's so sick.
Yeah. And they had kind of like the sad boy lyrics too, and stuff on addiction and stuff like that. That was kind of a lot of betrayal. Those sorts of
Yeah.
kind of lyrical themes to Sworn In and stuff too. Man, Sworn In kind of definitely changed the game for a lot of people. I think a lot of people heard Sworn In and all of a sudden were like, this is
Dude,
what
The
that
scene was
whole-
also revived at that moment because I kind of dipped out of hardcore, you know, after Mitch's passing and stuff like I kind of just I don't remember. I was listening to like singer-songwriters, you know, the tallest man on there and stuff like that. Like I just kind of dipped. But maybe I was hipster, who knows? But I remember the Sworn In, a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people were back at that moment. It was kind of a needed
heavy
punch in the
music was back all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely they made the blueprint, you know. It's a shame that they kind of ended the way that they did, but even now, like that band, like it inspires me, like just the way that the artwork was put together, you know, the Death Card, you know, that's kind of somehow what inspired the first 1056, just a black with the white logo on it. I was like, okay, that's
Sure.
awesome. And the way that it sounds, and that whole Chicago scene, that like with Victims and Villains. Villains had a song called 1056, and that's where 1056 comes from. So that was all in that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I didn't
answer
even
your
clock.
question in the
I
chat.
didn't clock that connection.
Yeah, so
That's
they had
actually
an album
cool.
called 10 Code. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I was so inspired by all of that, what was happening over there, Barrier, and you know everything else, and I was just like, just that 10 Code thing just stuck in my head. So when we wanted to call the band Downer originally, but there's some Australian rapper that has that name already. So we got told pretty much last minute before the EP was coming out, like you have to change the name. And I was like, I don't know if it was coming out yet. It was like pretty late. It was like very late in the stage, you know. And I was just like trying to think of something cool and fit in, and I was just like 1056, hell yeah, and everyone was down. So that's how it came about. But shout out to those guys.
Do you have any crazy tour stories from your time?
1056?
Because you guys have done some pretty hefty amounts of touring since the beginning of the band.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Has 1056 been cursed yet?
Yeah, more behind the scenes though. More behind the scenes, I think. Crazy tour stuff. I mean, for a lot of the guys, it's their first you know, for me it's not the case, but for them it's like their first US tour, and all this stuff is happening for everyone. I think all of it's just fucking crazy. I'm just stupidly thankful, because even the first time around with Betraying the Martyrs, I was like, why me? I don't, yeah, whatever, you know. What am I doing in America? This is fucking crazy. And then to not do that, and then to have a chance to do it again. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just feel, yeah, just really thankful. Just the fact that we're all together and being on tour, and people that are there to listen to us in particular, that's just crazy. That's how I see it. That's just already crazy. You know, that's the craziest thing that could have happened. Yeah.
What's your relationship with touring in general, especially now, because you've been at it for so long too? Some people get burnt the fuck out by it. Some people, that's just their preferred state. Like, what's your relationship with touring?
I think it's my preferred state as well. Yeah, I love it. I love being on tour. I love the friendships that are formed, because when you're on the road, you know, like everyone individually is far from home and just kind of out there. So the friendships that you make are super strong, and you know, I've got like lifelong friends. So I look forward to meeting other band members mostly, and just becoming homies with them. That's like the thing that I enjoy the most. Yeah.
Who's your favorite band to tour with?
That's a dick question, because everyone really. I mean, Landmarks are really. No, I'm kidding. That's a great question, but it's hard because so many friends made along the way. Like, I feel like if I don't say a certain band, I'll be leaving them out. But Taylor, Left to Suffer, I really love Taylor. I think the biggest bromance I've had is with a guy called Noel from Mental Cruelty. I don't know if you know that band. That was on the Signs of the Swarm tour. They were on that tour, and they're a German band. And me and this guy Noel just fucking and just homies, like the biggest bromance I've ever had, I'd say. And I fucking love him. Every tour I'll bro out with someone. Yeah, I feel bad. I don't know, because there's so many friends I've made along the way. I don't want to say anyone in particular.
Look, fine, but let the record show that at some point it'll be a TEN56 headliner, and you're gonna have to choose which bands are going on that tour, and you're gonna have to leave some of your favorite bands out. That's just how it's gonna be. You're gonna have to do
everyone.
All of them.
The festival tour or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
We had some questions come in on Instagram post we put out yesterday, and I'm personally curious about the answer to some of these questions. What's like an obscure genre that you listen to that people might not expect? I know we assume you're an eclectic guy to begin with, but is there anything that you think would surprise people?
I mean, I guess like my Feels playlist. I've got some like Celine Dion in there. What else have I got in there? Even that Angine de Poitrine, but I guess everyone likes that band now. What do I like? Yeah, just like ballads. I like ballads. You know,
like dad rock ballads.
No, more like, you know, like 80s. There's a lady singing, and my heart will go on. That kind of stuff. A bit of Blondie. I like Blondie.
Okay.
I like David Bowie. I like old ballads and stuff. Like Celine Dion. I'll listen to Celine Dion. I've got some Taylor Swift even in there.
Oh, he's a Swiftie. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Careful what you say now.
Anything that pulls on the heartstrings, I'm like there, you know. If it's making you feel something, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
How many farts a day?
Loads. Loads. Yeah, I'm a big farter.
Okay. Andreas from Cabal is asking. Favorite thing about airports? Question mark.
Oh.
Is there one? I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, because my friend's got a dad that works there. His dad works at the airport. He will know what I mean. That's like an inside joke that we have. Yeah, it's just okay. His name's Christian, and his dad works at the airport. That's the inside joke. But the joke is actually that Christian's dad is a pilot, but we just say that he works at the airport.
Oh, okay.
And so
He's actually never at the airport, but
yeah, people just assume that he's like a cleaner. It's like, oh yeah, his dad works at the airport. He's a pilot. I love those guys. Man.
Ian, if you don't mind, I'm gonna leave you to chat for literally 30 seconds. This is my turn to go piss. I gotta.
Weirdly, just since I'm alone here, I'm gonna take that occasion. Earlier when you
Let's
were
talk
asking
shit
me,
about
like,
him.
yeah, exactly. He's the worst. And no, but when you were asking me like how I managed to do that, like not to sound corny or anything, but I'm one of the very lucky person online that people are just really nice to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying nobody is hating on my page, but mostly it's like people are very nice with my content. Like, if you look at my comment section and stuff, like, I don't receive like a big amount of hate. So as an anxious person, like, it's cool to read that stuff, Some of the videos I made, like literally the mom of someone is commenting saying, "Hey, thank you for making that about my son." Like all like super wholesome stuff like that.
That's
It
awesome.
helps me. It's crazy, like a few touching moments, right? Because some of these bands, unfortunately, sometimes the person passed away, right? Like, so, not to go into details or whatever, but like I made 50 billion videos about Mitch, right? Like, it's no, I mean, I'm still right now working on a video, and it's about the best vocalist of all time in deathcore, and obviously my pick is always going to be Mitch, right? And recently somebody, without naming name, sent me like a close relative saying that he watched the stuff, and it was like, it was a good thing. Like, it was a cool thing that I made, but for coming from the family. So all those moments, every time I doubt myself, I'm like, dude, like, it's kind of a confirmation, like because I tend to be like you, right? Like, I'm gonna be hard on myself. I'm gonna be like, what am I doing? Like, I'm making, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making video, like, I'm very often being like, who cares, right? So in those moments, it's like, dude, okay, you might be doing something right. You might mispronounce the band name, but you're doing something right. So that's.
Well, I think that you come. This is why I like your content. I think that you come across as and you are, by the way, you come across as a very likable person, and I don't think there's any room there to hate on you. So, you're awesome.
Thank you. That's
He's
really
like, what the fuck?
nice. But that's a conversation.
Sorry, he went to piss, and he's like came back. He's like, you guys are glazing each other. What's going on?
I mean, hey.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean
That's, that's what we do here on the show. It's all about the glazing. It's all about it.
I don't think it's surprised. No, but I was just basically saying that I'm very fortunate as a creator that, like, and just because I said that, I'm going to receive a lot of hate after this, but I don't have like a huge ratio of hate. People are really kind to me. That was kind of I was saying it helps a lot. Even our community, for what it's worth, like the only, we piss people off because sometimes we say stuff like Slipknot is metal or stuff like things that you cannot say, like deathcore is real metal, and suddenly you have like 5 metal communities coming after you, but that's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
That's crazy.
Do you have what's like your favorite place to tour?
It's Montreal.
Yeah, what, like a favorite country to tour?
Yeah,
inside
or like,
of,
do you have like a specific city you love in particular, or and this could be show wise, but we can also answer it from the perspective of just a place you like to go to.
I think place you've been to
Japan,
you couldn't go in the green room. I think that's the place.
Didn't
get in.
Skid Row, the best, man. I don't know. Okay, in US, let's start with the US. I really like California. There's something about it. I mean, I wouldn't want to live there or anything, but there's a certain vibe. It just feels good to be there for a short amount of time. Specifically,
but it's hard to explain, right?
Yeah, you just
like the vibe. You kind of just have to be there to live it, to know what you're talking about there.
It just feels good. It feels good to be there. Canada is like, I love playing in Toronto. I think it's because normally we would go kind of like from Detroit or, you know, that kind of area up into, and there's a very stark contrast that happens, no shade, but there's a very stark contrast that happens, you know,
that border.
Yeah, that border and the people and just the attitude that you get there, and it's just completely different, and it just feels great to be in Toronto, and everyone's really nice. Canadians are great. I love Canadians. Australia is probably my favorite country in general. It feels great to be there. Kind of similar to the California thing. It just feels good to be there. And then in Europe, I really love Berlin. Berlin's nice. England's always good because I'm from there. I mean, I feel bad. Like I don't want to say not everywhere because you know, I want everyone to feel, you know. But
it's okay for you to enjoy a place. We all have our favorites, you know.
Yeah, I do enjoy. Yeah, enjoy Berlin. That's one that's sticking out. You know, immediately coming to mind. I do like being in California. I do like being in Australia, just in general. And I really like Scandinavia. I really like Norway, and I feel the same. There's something about those countries. It's also like peaceful, and everyone's so wary of like personal space, and everyone's very respectful over there. There's something I like about those countries in particular.
Yeah. You guys did Australia with Imure, right?
Yeah, awesome.
That's insane. That's crazy.
That must have been cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's kind of like a Mitch Lucker situation, because although, you know, me and Frankie are friends, but like I definitely put him and Mitch into the same, you know, around that same period of time. I definitely idolized and looked up to Frankie in a similar way as I did with Mitch. I definitely put those two bands, you know, together in terms of inspiration and stuff. So I mean, I had the opportunity to tour with Emil a bunch of times, but now it's more so like me and Frankie are kind of close, and we're like, okay, we're both like old, and we're both still doing this kind of, you know, type shit. But
old heads on the bus.
yeah, kind of feels like that. But yeah, I do often have to like step back and be like, hold up, you know, don't get too comfortable. 16-year-old me would be very stoked to be there. So like, you know, try and look at it from that angle.
Start punishing them right away. It's like, this is how 16-year-old me would have been.
No, just the way he wouldn't take that, you know. He's not punishable.
I've like 1056 fits so well with a band like Imure too, I feel.
Yeah.
Like the stylistically.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it would probably like be a cooler thing to say, oh, you know, they haven't inspired me enormously, but they just fucking have, you know. And even Frankie as a vocalist, and Ed's the very personally written subject matter and stuff. I just get down with that band so hard.
Mm-hmm.
There was only one Imure as well, right? Like back in the days, it was like there was a lot of different. I'm not saying no other bands were unique, but Imure was really, it was Imure. Like I couldn't name another band that's similar to it. Was that's it? It's them, and you know, it's still kind of the
down
case,
to everything, like the logo, the band name, and like stuff that he sang about, just the sound and the writing. It's completely original. I loved it. Still love it.
Yep.
You guys are heading on this Fit for a King tour. You mentioned it off top. That's a pretty cool ass tour. There's like sizable venues on this tour.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, and I mean we all are. We're really happy about it. Sorry, and also it's like a B market tour, which is great. So we get to hit. Oh, I said this earlier. Excuse me, I'm repeating myself. Oh, and we're also really excited to be on that tour because, you know, it's cool to do. I don't want to throw any involuntary shade, but it's cool to do deathcore tours, you know, pure deathcore tours. But it's also cool to be invited along to do, you know, metalcore tours, and it's nice to know that we can sit on those on those lineups and play for both of those audiences, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, objectively be the heaviest band on the bill too. There's something to that.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is cool because there was a time where everything was single genre tours, and then it became multi-genre tour by default. Like booking agents all of a sudden only wanted to do mixed bills. And and the crowds weren't really ready for it for a while. I feel like it always felt like for a minute in like those early scene days, it was like fan bases fighting each other because they just clashed. Like people didn't want to. It's like, no, I'm here for my band, and people should act this way in the pit. And there was no no sense of larger community at all, right? But now we're at a point where like tours like this can exist, and it's like it's just cool,
What was the standout example of that? I can't remember, but there was one example of like hardcore kids were like moshing or something, and I can't remember.
I've talked about one on the show before, personally. That was like,
which one was it?
See You Next Tuesday, Through the Eyes of the Dead, and the Acacia Strain, like all on a similar bill, and like Through the Eyes of the Dead had become way more death metal at that point too, and the death metal and the Acacia Strain pitting experience was not the same, and people were not having it. But you guys, I mean, to your
sorry.
Oh, go for it. I
was going to shout out Nate Johnson. Nate Johnson is up there. So if I had a top three of vocalists that personally inspired the way that I scream, Nate Johnson probably be number one. Number two would be, and then number 2 and 3 would be probably Mitch Lucker. No, Frankie probably, and Phil Bozeman. But Mitch was more inspirational, not vocally, but like more charismatically.
Style-wise and oral,
yeah. But Nate Johnson was definitely just the way he had that similar controlled low that Phil had, and I would learn. I think it was like the very early Fit for an Autopsy stuff, or maybe it was earlier than that. But I would practice along to Nate Johnson, and be like, I need to sound exactly like this guy.
That checks out with your brand of vocals for sure.
My brand. I love that.
No, but again, like I was saying earlier with yourself, I mean, it was at a time where like there were not that many vocalists doing that thing, and a guy like him like no one else sounded like him. Like that was his sound, that was his voice, It was before the fucking. We always talk about this, but the vocal tutorials and all the things that make it so that everyone today sounds the same, right? Like there was something to like a Nate Johnson. You knew it was Nate Johnson. He was just doing it,
Yeah, no, everyone sounds the fucking same, and it's like a animal noise Olympics, and again, also no shade, because that stuff is very, very impressive and far technically superior to anything I could do. But I just feel like there's a lot less heart in it,
Performing
being able to
a lot.
Yeah, I like to be able to distinguish lyrics, but that's quite hypocritical because I do like Without a Face. But I'm just gonna stop there.
Well, I mean, look, it's a time and place for everything in different genres, whatever. It has to serve the song ultimately, right? Like whatever style you're going into. But I think that to me it's really just the conversation about like someone sounding like themselves or someone sounding like, because like technically speaking, no one really should sound the same. Right, like everyone should, and I get it. Like it's a low thing. There's like a style to it. So like, sure, like it would be there'd be similarities, but technically speaking, like everyone's got their own voice and their own. It's not like playing a note on a guitar, where like it's always going to be the same thing for everyone playing it. And even now there's discrepancies, but vocal wise, it's like,
yeah. Well, now like everyone's getting like the nose involved and like the tunnel and all that stuff. So you're kind of moving away from actual pure vocal cords. It's more nasal and like tongue technique. And I mean, everyone's tongue's different, but everyone's tongue's pretty much the fucking same, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I think
people's noses don't have nose accents. So
I mean, I've got a deviated fucking septum. Maybe that would do something if I different if I tried being more nasally. I don't know.
Maybe, but you know, we were having this discussion, you know, with Jacob from Orphan, and the thing is, and of course you can enjoy whatever you enjoy, it's fine, but when I hear those crazy parts, right, like I feel like it's always the same breakdown. It goes like pack, and there's somebody going like, like for me, I can picture the vocalist just looking at his bandmates. Oh, that's going to be the crazy part, and just doing everything he can without a second thought, as opposed to like what we discussed today. Like, you know, you put a lot of yourself in your songs. Same conversation with like Orphan and stuff like that. So like it depends on what you're looking for, but there's a degree of realness that gets to you in those sorts of song. And even you were talking about Mitch, but look at a lot of those topics. You know, he was talking about slave to substance and a lot of different things. It was real shit as well, as much even if it was deathcore. So there's when something becomes trendy, so to speak, and right now it's the animal noises, people who relates to like it's hard to relate to. It's you know, as much as I enjoy goblins and video games and shit, I don't really particularly relate to a goblin, and it's coming from somebody who loves Waking the Cadaver, so I don't even know if I'm making sense. But
there are exceptions to the rule, right? Like I like Without a Face, like I just discovered them kind of recently, but it doesn't take away from like just being able to understand the lyrical content and kind of hearing it in the vocalist's voice rather than just listening to a bunch of animal noises about dragons and the fire of the fucking hell, and you know that stuff. You know, it's like, yeah, it might be cool, but you know, it's not striking, you know, hitting any chords in my heart. I'm like, oh yes, that part. You know, it's just not happening.
One little tiny thing to close this out with. Let's do a little clip for the show, for the socials, shall we?
Let's do it.
Top 5 heaviest bands of all time. Go.
Whoa.
Wait. Hold up. Is this based on how heavy they are, or just heavy bands that I like?
Heavy bands that you like. It's a top 5 in terms of your top 5.
This is hard. Okay. King Conquer. Yeah, are you into that?
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
we hard agree 100%. Over here on this panel. 100%. Absolutely.
I know it's recent, but I really do like Psycho Frame. I love Psycho Frame. Okay. Immure, can't deny that. Does it have to go heavier though? Does it have to go heavier? Oh, I hate the fact that I'm on the spot right now. Okay. Suicide Silence has to be up there. Okay, one more. Ooh, okay. Humanity's Last Breath. Okay. I don't listen to them as much as I used to, but can't deny that production and just the feeling of hearing that for the first time. Awesome. Oh, no, can I take someone off and put someone else back there?
Absolutely.
Take whoever off and put Meshuggah back. I'm a huge Meshuggah fan. Huge. Love Meshuggah.
Okay.
Ridiculously.
I mean, that's a solid list in my books. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange because I don't. You put on the spot and you're like, oh shit! I hope what I'm saying is heavy enough for people's liking, you know. But that's what came
here's the thing, Aaron. People aren't going to agree regardless of what you say here.
Yeah.
So that's why it just has to be. It has to be your list from the heart, and that's the end of that. You know, fuck what people think. Okay. People will argue regardless.
Yeah. Okay. I stayed true to myself. That I feel confident in that.
Honestly, I feel also like in those sort of questions where people are put on the spot, I do feel like without overthinking, just the first things that popped into your brain are probably your true answers, you know?
True.
So.
Even though
Right,
after this show, you're gonna be like, I should have said
God,
that band.
I'm such a douche. I should have said this. I would have sounded way cooler if I'd said this band instead.
Well,
There we go.
Aaron, dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. This is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took so long. I probably spoke too much.
You cannot. I'm the.
You're overthinking before this thing is over. I had a blast, man. This is fucking cool.
It was honestly awesome. Yeah.
This is a really cool conversation, and when it comes to the whole, you know, conversation that resolves around addiction and mental health and stuff like that, like we like to highlight that stuff because we do think that those sorts of things will connect with people, and sometimes just the thing that someone out there needed to hear to whatever help them with whatever they've got going on. So I know you were a bit self-conscious about that stuff earlier, but I do want to say that I do appreciate the honesty and the willingness to be open about all that stuff, because I think that stuff is important. So I do appreciate it, man.
I'm tearing up a little bit. Don't get me with that stuff. But I appreciate you saying that, and I won't be worried about that stuff. I'll be feeling good about that. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I'll push it even further. I kind of needed that sort of conversation like, in all honesty, I kind of needed that today. I feel great at the moment, so that's it was a good conversation. It was super cool, and I'm not kidding. I could never tell someone that they're talking too much. I cannot.
Yeah, Yen doesn't have that right. The right revoked.
It was
the
since
yapper
I was a
himself.
kid, yeah, and my own family knows that I'm talking too much. Like, it's impossible. Like, I cannot tell that. So yeah, and you were at the right place to talk, for what it's worth. I mean, we're here to do exactly
that's what a podcast is for. Exactly.
Yeah, imagine like, hey, I hope I didn't talk too much on a fucking podcast. That's the fucking point.
That is the only ask that we have, is that you talk a lot.
Yes.
That's the only thing. So, anything you want to shout out or let the people know before we hop off here?
Yeah, please come to the shows. Come to shows. And come say hello. Those little moments that are shared, often sometimes uncomfortable, but they mean a lot, and they leave lasting impressions that are worth more than avoiding them because of anxiety stuff. So come say hello to all of us. Come to shows. If you listen to our music, thank you. If you don't, do it. And shout out to you guys. It's been a pleasure getting to know both of you. You guys are really easy to talk to, and I've really enjoyed my time here.
Glad to hear that.
Right back at you. And we're gonna have to keep in touch. We're gonna have to link up next time you're in Montreal. We're gonna make it a point.
Yeah. I'll fangirl. Oh my god!
It'll be mutual, my friend.
You guys just fucking cool guy me, like, get this put. Yeah, who's this guy? All right, guys.
It's gonna be perfect when you're able to meet in real life, and then both overthink about what happened. So.
All right, man. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, for real.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Yes, sir. Peace out, man.
Take care, man.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world, and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.